Very pleasant good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Eyes Lamel Family Field as we count down to kickoff, a noon kickoff between the Brevard College Tornadoes and the Methodist Monarchs. Senior Day here at Eyes Lamel Family Field, and a lot of anticipation for not only the Senior Day, where a large number of Tornadoes will be honored in a pregame ceremony. We're about 10 minutes away from that, but another key USA South Conference matchup between the Tornadoes and Methodists. Joined today in handling the play-by-play by Brevard College alum, former Brevard College football student athlete, so an alum of the BC football program as well. And most of you probably know him as a broadcaster calling all of Brevard College's sports during his time at BC. Great to be joined for today's game by Brady Penn. Brady, great to have you with us. How does it feel to be back here on campus? And I know you're looking forward to this one.
Yeah, Phil, thanks for having me. It's great to be back here at my alma mater and kind of a new angle. I know last year got the one opportunity to call the Maryville game with you in a game I wasn't able to play in, but for the most part, a pretty new circumstance watching from the booth instead of being on the field in pads. But I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it and ready to see the NATOs get another USA South win.
Yeah, and at this point, every win, really a must-win situation if the Tornadoes want to continue to be in this USA South Conference championship hunt, coming off a big 25-21 road win at Huntington, the first time the Tornadoes have ever won in Montgomery, Alabama, in that great series between those two teams. What are you feeling in terms of this momentum that the Tornadoes are trying to get going once again as we head into this Methodist matchup?
Well, it feels like the strength of this team has kind of shifted throughout the year. Early on, it felt like an offense that was putting up a bunch of points, a defense that was trying to find its identity. And the last 2 weeks, the offense has been a little bit more quiet with the defense scoring and making big-time plays. So looking for more of that to continue. You got guys like James Woods and Robert Dorsey getting it done on the defensive side of things. But like you said, NATOs really need to win the remainder of this schedule to have a shot against Maryville in the final week of the season. We saw the USA South press release that said basically if it comes down to championship stakes, we will have Maryville and Brevard in Maryville in Week 10 instead of the scheduled games for those two teams. And I know that the team can't do this, but we up here will be doing a little bit of scoreboard watching between LaGrange and Huntington this afternoon that kicks off an hour after us.
Well, first things first, Methodist versus Brevard, and we talked to head coach Bill Kyatt. He said throw the records out on this one. Methodist coming into this game 1-7, kind of a deceiving 1-7 record. They've had some injuries across the offensive line and certainly some adversity, but every time these two teams play, it seems to be fairly unpredictable, often very tight contest, and these two teams not only playing against each other on the field in those USA South Conference standings, but fighting for recruits, because a lot of recruits look at both Brevard and Methodist kind of as peer institutions when it comes to football, and the winner of this game will have the upper hand in that recruiting class battle.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked to Coach Kyle, like you said. He mentioned this is kind of a recruiting battleground matchup between the Monarchs and the Tornadoes. NATOs are rolling on a 2-game win streak against Methodist so far. They had a 52-20 blowout win in Fayetteville last year. And then if you remember 2 years ago on this exact same field, NATOs got a 2-point victory where James Woods stuffed the quarterback on a 2-point conversion try to win the game. In a game where Martin Bayless and the Tornado defense had a perfect game plan for Methodist with their elite receiver at the time, Kobe Prelo. So NATO defense, I believe, also had 4 takeaways in last year's matchup. So obviously a matchup that Coach Bayless likes and knows how to take advantage of.
Well, an outstanding senior class will be honored in just a few moments with the Senior Day ceremony. Do want to just run through these names real quick, then we'll hand it over to public address announcer Ray Gill in just a few moments for the actual ceremony. 5 seniors who were part of last year's senior class as well came back for a 5th year. They'll be honored, some of whom are graduate students, others in their 5th year here at Brevard College. Chancellor Lee Parker, Zachary Orr, Trey Williams, Josh Blockstock, and Hayden Schnell. Also, the seniors this year, Tristan Wynn, Dylan James, Cooper Hogan, Hot Rod Fenton, Ian Castellanos, Ernest Smith II, Brooks Ashford, Nick Akis, Jeremiah Rudolph, Hugo Taylor, Jamon Fanning, Jamie Timsley, Nicholas Carter, Sims Watley, Dominic O'Brien, and Nicholas Schultes as well, Stephen Victoriano, Jared Smith, Wanye Martin, George Rennie, Devon Taylor and Zion Wilson. What an outstanding group, and many of whom, Brady, you had the opportunity to play with as a student athlete during your years here at Brevard College. Comments on this year's senior class?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. This is a group of guys that I played with. Some of these guys, the fifth years I played with my whole career, and then was here for the first 3 years of these current seniors, and it's even more special to be here to watch them get their last opportunity here at Ives Lamel Family Field. Excited to see them get it done.
Very good. Well, just in a couple moments, we will have the Senior Day ceremony for you right here live on this YouTube channel. Stick around. Brady will have the play-by-play call. I'll be along for the ride, and we'll be bringing you Brevard College and Methodist in a matter of moments as well. Stick with us. Senior Day ceremony and then kickoff between the Tornadoes and the Monarchs.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Ives Lamel Family Field on the campus of Brevard College for this afternoon's football game featuring a USA South Conference matchup between the visiting Monarchs of Methodist University and your Brevard College Tornadoes. Before today's game, please direct your attention to midfield, where we will be celebrating this year's Brevard College football senior class. Now let's meet the seniors. First, we would like to honor a special group of senior graduate Tornadoes who walked in last year's senior day. They are positioned by the 30-yard line today. Ernest Smith II, Chancellor Lee Parker, Zachary Orr, Trey Williams, Josh Blackstock, and Hayden Schnell. Please give this group a big round of applause for these tremendous Tornadoes senior and graduates. And now for the BC Football 2024 senior class, please hold your applause till the end. First, a senior defensive back from Yanceyville, North Carolina, number 0, Tristan Wynn. Tristan is being escorted by his parents, Keith and Linda. Tristan will graduate from Brevard College with a bachelor's degree in exercise science. Next, a senior defensive back from Gainesville, Florida, number 1, Dylan James. Dylan is being escorted by Christy, Tyler, and Greg Orr and Taylor Willis. Dylan will graduate from Brevard College with a bachelor's degree in business and organizational leadership. Next, a senior wide receiver from New London, North Carolina, number 3, Cooper Hogan. Cooper is being escorted by his parents, Mike and Tammy, his girlfriend, Kaylee, and his siblings, Connor and Maddie. Cooper will graduate from BC with a bachelor's degree in business and organizational leadership. Next, a graduate defensive lineman from Atlanta, Georgia, number 6, Hot Rod Fitton. Hot Rod is being escorted by Coach DJ Taylor. Hot Rod will graduate from BC's Masters of Business Administration program. Next, a senior defensive back from Roxborough, North Carolina, number 7, Kentrell Holloway. Kentrell is being escorted by his parents, Kenny and Kiara, his grandfather, Dean, and his brother, Kentavious. Kentrell will graduate from BC with a bachelor's degree in business and organizational leadership. Next, a graduate tight end from Miami, Florida, number 8, Ian Castellanos. Ian is being escorted by his parents, Ernesto and Alicia. Ian will graduate from BC's Masters of Business Administration program. Next, a senior linebacker from Orangeburg, South Carolina, number 12, Brooks Ashford Jr. Brooks is being escorted by his mother, Linda, and his aunts, Denitra and Betty. Brooks will graduate from BC with a bachelor's degree in exercise science. Next, a senior punter from Inman, South Carolina, number 13, Nick Akes. Nick is being escorted by his mother, Lee, and his brother, Ben. Nick will graduate from BC with a bachelor's degree in business and organizational leadership. Next, a senior wide receiver from Winter Garden, Florida, number 16, Jeremy Rudolph. Jeremy is being escorted by his mom, Zena. Jeremy will graduate from BC with a bachelor's degree in business and organizational leadership. Next, a senior kicker from Charleston, South Carolina, number 16, Hugo Taylor. Hugo is being escorted by his parents, Mike and Marianne, and his girlfriend, Elizabeth. Hugo will graduate from BC with a bachelor's degree in mathematics. Next, a graduate defensive back from Thompson, Georgia, number 29, Jamon Fanning. Jamon is being escorted by his parents, Natasha and Link. Jamon will graduate from BC's Masters of Business Administration program. Next, a senior long snapper from Trinity, North Carolina, number 32, Jamie Tinsley. Jamie is being escorted by his parents, Rick and Jennifer, his wife, Elizabeth, and his siblings, Drew and Matt. Jamie will graduate from BC with a bachelor's degree in physical education. Next, a senior linebacker from Asheboro, North Carolina, number 38, Nicholas Clark. Nicholas is being escorted by his parents, Thomas and Desiree, and his girlfriend, Allison. Nicholas will graduate from BC with a bachelor's degree in exercise science. Next, a senior long snapper from Anderson, South Carolina, number 50, Sims Watley. Sims is being escorted by his parents, Rick and Kayla. Sims will graduate from BC with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Next, the senior long snapper from Huntersville, North Carolina, number 53, Dominique O'Brien. Dominique is being escorted by his parents, Tim and Amy, his grandma, Jackie, and his sister, Mia. Dominique will graduate from BC with a bachelor's degree in history. Next, a senior defensive lineman from Rutland, Vermont, number 54, Nicholas Schultes. Nicholas is being escorted by his parents, David and Beverly. Nicholas will graduate from BC with a bachelor's degree in chemistry. Next, a senior defensive lineman from Roxborough, North Carolina, number 70, Stephen Victoriano. Stephen is being escorted by his parents, Jose and Rosa. Stephen will graduate from BC with a bachelor's degree in exercise science. Next, a senior wide receiver from Asheville, North Carolina, number 82, Jared Smith. Jared is being escorted by his brothers, Jacob, Johnny, and Jackson, and his niece, Abriella. Jared will graduate from BC with a bachelor's degree in mathematics. Next, a senior wide receiver from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, number 84, Wanya Martin. Wanya is being escorted by his mother, Brandy. Wanya will graduate from BC with a bachelor's degree in communications. Next, a senior wide receiver from Sunbury, North Carolina, number 86, George Rennie. George is being escorted by his parents, Mitch and Jennifer, his brother, RJ, and his girlfriend, Kylie. George will graduate from BC with a bachelor's degree in communications. Next, a senior defensive lineman from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, number 92, Devon Taylor. Devon is being escorted by his mother, Chate, his fiancée, Shanique, his son, Demir, and his sister, Dianara. Devon will graduate from BC with a bachelor's degree in art. Next, a graduate defensive lineman from Scottsburg, Virginia, number 99, Zion Wilson. Zion is being escorted by his mother, Christy, and his girlfriend, Jalem. Zion will graduate from BC's Master of Business Administration program.
Finish this first, then we'll do the cheer.
And I'll wait till he gets out there to do the last thing. Yeah, we're good. I'll just kind of wait till he gets out there. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big round of applause for the BC football senior class of 2024. And following the photo for the class of 2024, we'll be honoring our senior cheerleaders. For your Brevard College football team.
All right, Scott, nice and easy.
Fans, please turn your attention back to the center field for today's Cheerleading Senior Day presentation. We will be honoring our 4 BC cheerleading seniors. First, a senior from Roxborough, North Carolina, Blair Nance. Blair is being escorted by her mother, Michelle, and her stepfather, Tom. Blair will graduate from BC with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Following graduation, Blair plans to obtain her master's degree in social work. Off the field, Blair is a member of the Criminal Justice Honor Society, as a treasurer for SGA and a peer leader. She has also made the Dean's List several times. Her favorite BC memory was joining the cheer team, the relationships she made, and her teammates and coaches, and will be going to Disney to compete nationally. Fans, please give a big round of applause for Blair Nance. Next, a senior from Rosman, North Carolina, Emma Reese. Emma is being escorted by her parents, Jamie and Kyle. Emma will graduate from BC with a bachelor's degree in health science and a minor in business and organizational leadership. Following graduation, Emma plans to obtain her master's in healthcare administration and become a nursing home admin. Emma made it onto the BC honor roll for all 3 years, and her favorite BC memory was being able to continue her cheerleading career and cheering on the sidelines with her best friends. Fans, please give it up for senior Emma Reese. Next, a senior from Lexington, South Carolina, Rachel Piazzoli. Rachel is being escorted by her mother, Kelly Ann. Rachel will graduate from BC with a bachelor's degree in exercise science and a minor in biology. Rachel plans to attend physical therapy school after graduation. Off the field, Rachel was involved in the Alpha Chi National Honor Society, was secretary of Tri Beta National Biology Honor Society, and was treasurer of Omicron Delta Kappa National Leadership Honor Society. Rachel made Dean's List several times and is the top 10% of the senior class. Her favorite BC memory was meeting her lifelong friends. Give a big round of applause for Rachel Piazzolla. Next, a senior from Easley, South Carolina, Sophia Ogawa. Sophia is being escorted by Lori Ryan. Sophia will graduate from BC with a bachelor's degree in clinical psychology. After graduation, Sophia plans to obtain her master's degree. Off the field, Sophia managed Bill's Boiler House, was president of Psi Chi, a tutor in East LC, and a peer leader, a member of the honors program, and a member of IWIL. Sophia qualified for the Dean's List several times and was USA South Academic All-Conference. Her favorite BC memory was joining the cheer team and getting to go to Disney World. Fans, please give it up for senior Sophia Agawa. And one more big round of applause for the 2024 cheerleading senior class.
Back here at Eyes Lamel Family Field after Senior Day ceremonies for both the Brevard College football and cheerleading programs. A sensational class joined once again by Brady Penn. Moments away from getting things started here, Brady. What's sort of the feeling you're feeling on the field, talking to some of the players, pregame, coaches, and so forth? What's the environment like for today's game?
Oh, well, they're ready. I mean, Senior Day is always one of those games where there's always just going to be that little extra bit of emotion because you've got these guys that are in their last home game trying to finish off, making a statement, and just adding a final notch to individual and team legacies. But, I mean, they've got their eyes focused on something bigger than just winning today. They want to set up that date with Maryville in Week 10, and obviously you have to take things a week at a time, starting here with Methodist. So they're motivated, they're determined, and they're focused.
Well, just earlier, we were able to catch up a bit with Coach Kyatt, and Brady was able to spend some time with the coach. So stick with us. We'll have that for you in just a few moments. But, a beautiful day for football. Do want to mention also, Brady, this is a big day on the campus of Brevard College. After this football game, they'll go through the typical post-game wrap-up and that kind of thing, turn over the field and get the field ready for soccer, because the women's soccer team, hey, big congratulations to them.
Yep.
An unbeaten regular season, and that set up a number 1 seed opportunity and the chance to host the USA South Conference tournament. That will begin this afternoon. Later after this game, a 5 p.m. scheduled start there. So stick around, or if you're able to get on out here at Eis Lamel Family Field, catch the end of the football game, then stick around for the women's soccer game, even better. But we'll bring you that action as well, but did want to give them a big hat tip. So Brady was able to catch up earlier with head coach Bill Kyatt, and here's what the coach had to say.
Brady Penn here with Coach Bill Kyatt. Coach, last week a big win against Huntington on the road. You're back at home here against Methodist. What's the message to the team here in this home stretch, and how do you guys want to finish this thing out in 2024 regular season?
Well, offensively, we'd like to come out playing our game. And what does that mean? It means 2 weeks ago in our only conference loss, we turned the ball over multiple times. Last week, we played a lot more conservative game. It didn't result in a lot of points, but we didn't turn the ball over and we managed the game properly. So now we want to have a fine balance this week of being creative with some of the things that we call, but not get out of control and turn the ball over. And then defensively, what we're really looking to do there is to get these guys behind the chains. So if we can make it second and long, that'd be better for us. The way they perform in the first half, they score a lot of their points in the first half, especially that second quarter. So we want to limit their point production in the first half.
Absolutely. Coach, it's senior day. How do you want to send off these seniors here today that have been here for the last 4 years working hard in this program?
Well, we want to continue this legacy of winning and winning with class and integrity, but also we are playing for a bigger picture since we still are in the hunt for something great and grand at the end of this thing.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time, Coach Kyatt. Best of luck today.
That was head coach Bill Kyatt just moments ago previewing this matchup between the Methodist Monarchs and the Brevard College Tornadoes. We're about 9 minutes from getting things started, toe meeting leather. But before that, we'll have the final pregame ceremonies as we head towards Tornadoes and Monarchs here at Eis Lamel Family Field. Stick with us. Brevard and Methodist coming up shortly.
Let us pray. Our source, we are grateful for the beauty of this day, to be able to stand in this space, to be able to honor our seniors. We pray your blessing upon this space, all who are active on it and in it. Bless those who stand on this field, our cheerleaders, our trainers, everyone involved. And bless us that watch. Allow us to live to the highest of sportsmanship, that we will see the greatness that flows forth on this day, and we will be grateful, and we give you thanks. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please remain standing and remove your hats for the singing of the national anthem performed today by Grace Fault of the Brevard College School of Music.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Invocation by Brevard College campus minister Sherrod Kreisman, followed by national anthem from Grace Vaught, senior in the School of Music here at Brevard College, as the two teams get ready for the coin toss. Joined by Brady Penn, who's going to be providing the play-by-play for this one, Monarchs and Tornadoes, as the two teams get ready for the coin toss. Brady, countdown to kickoff here, just moments away.
Yep, absolutely. Excited to get going here. Senior Day. We've had the Senior Day festivities. We've got a lot of people here in the building at Ives Lamel Family Field, and we are ready to go as you see Ethan Beamish and Bailey Ramey out for the coin toss at midfield. We'll see if the Tornadoes end up with the football or if they kick off to begin things. See the captain shaking hands, and just an exciting day here. That's the best way to describe it, Phil. Exciting atmosphere, and NATO's sitting at 2-2 at home, hoping to finish the home regular season with a winning record here on their turf.
Yeah, and indeed, and the Tornadoes' offense will be the first to have an opportunity here. Methodist won the toss, decided to defer to the second half, and Brevard will take the ball here in the first half. And the Brevard offense, a lot of weapons, with Ethan Beamish back at that quarterback position, the two-headed monster at that tailback position of Deaton and Parker.
Yep.
And then, of course, you've got wide receiver targets for Beamish, including Zachary Orr, who's already set some records this season, along with Cooper Hogan and a bunch of other weapons. But Tornadoes will get the ball first, and, ready to get things started here, Brady.
Yep, about ready for the kickoff here. It looks like it'll be Sam Andres, senior kicker for Methodist, to put toe to leather. And you mentioned this running back duo. That'll be something big to watch. Both running backs in the top 6 in the USA South Conference in rushing yards, sort of similar to what we see with the Detroit Lions with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Sort of at the D3 level here with Deaton and Lee Parker. But back deep, we have Zachary Orr. And we are ready to go here. Zachary Orr and Jeremiah Lane ready for the kickoff, and we are all set here at Ives Lamel Family Field.
Yeah, and keep an eye on Jeremiah Lane. He's one of those call-ups from the Futures program, an absolute burner. Just 5'6", 135 pounds, but don't let that fool you. If he gets into open space, watch out.
Here's Andre with the kick. This one's going to sail into the arms of Orr around the 10. Here goes Zach from left to right. He's got blockers. He's got space. Orr has a crease. Right side at the 40. He's in midfield. He's taking off at the 40, the 30. He cuts back at the 20. He's going to go to start the game. Zach Orr to the house. Zach Orr with a 90-yard kick return touchdown to start off the ball game, and the NATOs are on the board in 16 seconds.
A fantastic start to the Tornadoes' day. I mentioned Lane's big play possibility. Well, Orr's got it as well. A 90-yarder to the house.
Zach Orr showing off the speed. And you got points for the NATOs without the offense even taking a snap yet as Hugo Taylor readies up for the PAT. And as good of a start as you can ask for, Phil.
Absolutely. And, the Tornadoes have a knack for doing this early in games. These first play from scrimmage, in this case, the kickoff return. The key is to keep this excitement going, through all four quarters, which I'm sure, the Tornadoes certainly are capable of. They're motivated here on this senior day. But what a start seeing the special teams deliver with quick 7 points for the NATOs.
Absolutely. And we know Coach Helton, the new special teams coach this year for the Tornadoes, has emphasized to these guys, from what I've heard, that the kickoff return unit is looking better the last few weeks and has looked really strong, and you see the fruits of their labor right there.
Well, and, we talk about the return, and obviously Orr's, speed, such a big part of it, but the blocking that was done, opening up that huge lane along the right side, along the near sideline. And then you saw Jeremiah Lane, his fellow kickoff returner, kind of escorting him down the field all the way there, ready to take on another defender if need be.
Yeah, and Orr really didn't even have to make a bunch of moves, just the one cut there at around the 20, but it was a straight shot. Went left to right, they overcommitted to that right side, and Orr, he can run for days. Here's Hugo Taylor for the opening kickoff by the Tornadoes after the KOR touchdown. This one's going to be fielded at the 6, taken to the 20, and now brought down at the 21. That's Chancellor Lee Parker on the tackle. And that's one thing that the NATOs do. They're not afraid to put starters on the special teams and guys that are big impact on offense and defense, on the kickoff team, on the kick return team, anybody that can help them win and execute on those special teams plays.
Absolutely. Your feature tailback makes the play on kickoff return coverage. You got to love that kind of versatility. And, now we'll get the first look at the Tornado defense against this Methodist offense that's been struggling a lot with their offensive line. All sorts of injuries throughout the year, all sorts of combinations. We'll see what Methodist brings to the table this afternoon.
This is going to be Jaylon Miller at quarterback, who has not seen a whole lot of action. He drops the pass and has a quick hitch that's dropped to start off his afternoon. And Miller doesn't really have a whole lot of action for most of the season. It has been Brennan Brucato for the Monarchs, over 1,400 yards, second in the conference. But today we see Miller, who's just 7 for 21, 66 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 picks entering today. So the young quarterback getting a chance here. Monarchs go 3 wide to the left. Motion the tight end over. Miller takes the snap, looks for a quick screen. Grimes tries to bat it down, and then Brandon Broughton is there to knock the pass up. That screenplay did not develop and was sniffed out very easily by the Tornado defense. That was Grimes sticking his hand up, disrupting the pass a little bit, and then Broughton knocking it down.
Yeah, Methodist comes out with 2 consecutive passing plays, and Tornadoes coverage on top of these receivers in both cases.
3rd and 10 here for the Monarchs. You see Robert Dorsey on that right edge, leading the USA South in sacks this season. Can he get pressure here on an early 3rd down? Miller steps up, and he's going to be brought down. Ernest Smith II brings him down right at the sticks. No gain there for the Monarchs, and it's going to be an opening drive 3 and out for a Monarch offense that has struggled all season long, dead last in the conference in points per game. They don't get anything on that first series against the Tornado defense.
Yeah, Ernest Smith II, the senior defensive lineman from Barnwell, South Carolina, on Senior Day. He's one of those fifth-year guys who celebrated Senior Day last year as well, but he's fired up to continue to keep things going this year. What a year Ernest Smith has had, by the way.
Yep.
I mean, fourth on the team in total tackles, up there in the sacks and tackle for loss categories as well.
Shown with the punt, end over end. Cooper Hogan is going to call for the fair catch just behind the 50. Nados will take over at their own 48 here. First offensive snaps of the ball game. Obviously, we had the return touchdown by Zach Orr. And our first look now at Ethan Beamish and the offense. Taking a look at the offensive line. A bit shuffled around this week. Some injuries and some guys coming back from left to right. Brody Lindsay at tackle, then Bernard Wirtz. Josh Blackstock, the fifth-year center. And then you got Jordan Lindsay starting at right guard with the return of LaRodrick Rucker starting at right tackle. In the backfield, you'll have Lee Parker and Deaton, the duo. Ethan Beamish under center. His receivers, Cooper Hogan, Zach Orr, Adam Douglas, and Reggie Taylor. At that tight end spot, Ian Castellanos and Joseph Cuellar. 13:44 remaining here in the first. Early on here at Ives Lamel Family Field. It's a 7-0 Tornado lead. We have an announcement from the official here on the spot of the football. Looks like there might have been a late penalty against Methodist at the end of that one.
Yeah, so
fair catch interference.
Advantage here for the Tornadoes. What was already good field position becomes that much better on the plus 42 and a 7-0 lead to boot.
Deaton will start in the backfield to Beamish's left. Cooper Hogan comes across in motion to the boundary and now back towards the field. Beamish takes a snap, quick throw over to Deaton. Trying to let his blockers get set up. Now he runs forward for about 6 on first down for the Tornadoes. Jaden Deaton, a transfer from ETSU, former safety at ETSU up the road. 64 carries on the year for 441 yards, which is good for 6th in the USA South, and obviously a bit more of a dual threat back than Lee Parker, who's the ground and pound between the tackles type.
Yeah, that's what makes them effective. 2 different running styles and 2 different challenges for the opposing defense. And you mentioned Deaton's background coming from Tennessee Martin. You know, he's of that caliber out of Mississippi, a football-rich state.
Beamish, play action. Deep drop looking down the right side. Reggie Taylor, he cannot make the catch. Taylor was wide open for 6 and could not haul it in. Beamish hit him right in the chest, and just a mistake there by Reggie Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor had a few yards on his defender. The speed of Taylor, one of the fastest Tornadoes on campus, regardless of sport, plays on that track and field team as well as one of our top sprinters here at Brevard College. And, yeah, that's one he'd love to have the opportunity to have over again, I'd bet.
3rd and short here for the Tornadoes. Lee Parker in the backfield. Cooper Hogan motions across. Douglas and Orr stacked to the right side. Beamish. Quick drop, looks to the right side, and he's got Douglas. What a throw there in a tight window. Good catch by Adam Douglas to move the chains, and now the Nados inside the 30.
Yeah, and Douglas has really started to become a go-to receiver, if not the go-to receiver in these last couple games for Beamish. You know, teams had been zeroing in so much on Zachary Orr that I think it's allowed for more opportunities for Douglas.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you remember, Douglas was huge last year in multiple big games, especially here at home, and now starting to get back in that groove. Castellanos in at tight end, Shepard as well. Castellanos motions across, and now Hogan motions in. Beamish takes the snap, hands it off to Lee Parker, who is going to break a tackle and then fall shortly after. Gain of about 7 there for Chancellor Lee Parker.
Yeah, and first running play of the game for the Tornadoes after 3 consecutive passing plays. That might have loosened up that defense a little bit from the Methodist side of things, and it sets up a very manageable second down situation.
And, you know, Methodist, their defense actually has not been quite as bad as their offense has been. They're 3rd in the conference in points per game allowed, actually right behind the Tornado defense. Beamish, another handoff to Lee Parker. Cuts outside to the right, runs a man over, and it looks like he's going to have enough for the first down. That was Caleb Kelly on the tackle for Methodist. Junior safety out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And another first down for the Nados. They are in the red zone for the first time today.
Yeah, Chancellor Lee Parker, we saw him make that special teams play, and here he is, you know, showing some physicality in what he does best, that tailback position.
Got a condensed formation to the right. Now Castellanos and Cuellar with a little motion to the left. Douglas alone to the right. Now Cooper Hogan motions in once again. Here's another handoff to Lee Parker. He's got a small crease, and he'll work forward for about 3. Closing in on that 10-yard line here. NATOs have been fairly efficient in the red zone this year, 17 of 22 in terms of red zone drives, converting on scores, and 15 of 22 in terms of touchdowns.
Yeah, and certainly that's a key to victory in any level of football, that red zone success. And Tornadoes now down to the 10-yard line, so creeping up even further.
NATO's condensed once again here. A play-action boot to the right. Beamish. He has a man open. It's Castellanos in the end zone, and he's in. Touchdown, Ian Castellanos, the tight end, here on Senior Day for 6. There's Ethan Beamish's 16th touchdown of the year. That leads the USA South.
And the first touchdown in a Tornado uniform for Ian Castellanos here on Senior Day. One of those seniors honored earlier. And, in fact, he's one of those graduate students here at Brevard College out of Miami, Florida, transferred in from Monmouth Southwest High School down in the 305.
Yeah, that's your territory down there, Phil, at Miami. NATO's knocked through the PAT. It's 14-0. Less than 5 minutes in, and if you're Coach Kyatt, you can't be any happier about the start that your team has gotten off to. Kick return touchdown, 3 and out on defense, and then a touchdown drive down the field, capped off with that throw to Castellanos.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. A quick 14-0 lead, but we talked about this with Coach yesterday in our meetings. Got to continue to stay focused throughout this game. Not give Methodist any sort of signs of life with turnovers or mistakes or anything like that. But a lot of congratulations on the sideline with Ian Castellanos. Great to see him get that first career touchdown as a Tornado.
Absolutely. You see him with that chain on now. The NATOs have made that sort of a staple of their sideline antics this year, the chain for turnovers, touchdowns, all the above. Everybody's got to have a nice little gimmick, right?
Yeah, we've seen it all across college football.
I mean, Miami started it with that turnover chain. Back in 2017 as Taylor boots this one to the left side. It'll be hauled in and taken to the 10. Now the 20, a crease, and nearly to the 30 there for Marquez Jones.
Solid return there for Methodist, and perhaps that's what the Monarchs need to try to get some momentum going themselves, but the Tornadoes have just absolutely snuffed out any sort of efforts from the Monarchs, whether it's on that kickoff return we saw for the touchdown, as you mentioned, and then this defense with a quick 3-and-out first time around.
Absolutely. So NATO's only had 3 plays defensively that first series, looking for more of the same here. See Kentrell Holloway at that cornerback spot here on the field side. We talked to Coach Kyatt about him nursing a bruised AC joint, and NATO's want to feel it out and see if he can go. Flag flies in the air as the ball is snapped. A couple yards gained on the run there for Methodist. Now Holloway is going to head out for Jamon Fanning. We'll monitor Holloway and how frequently we see him in there.
Yeah, Coach had mentioned the shoulder injury and how a lot of it's going to be by feel, and after he takes on some contact, how he feels after that, whether we'll continue to see him throughout this contest. But another one of those seniors, it's very meaningful for these seniors to get to play on Senior Day. You see guys doing whatever it takes to get prepared and have this opportunity. So many of them have family in the building and just a emotional time. So any senior, you want to at least give them a chance to get a snap or two.
Absolutely. So the penalty was against the Tornadoes, which makes it 1st and 5. Looked like the NATOs jumped. You got Love in the backfield, and now it's going to be a drop back with instant pressure coming in for the NATOs. A swarm of Tornadoes coming in there. Look like Trey Williams, Robert Dorsey, the 2 main culprits there.
Yeah, two of that defensive line, and Williams leading the charge, and as you mentioned, Dorsey there as well. And that pass rush has made it difficult for quarterbacks throughout the USA South Conference all season.
So the NATOs getting the penalty yardage back and more on the sack. Now here's a handoff to Love. No, a quarterback keeper by Miller, and he is brought down in the backfield. Robert Dorsey once again getting in there with Grimes, Bailey Ramey, and a few others. And Coach Kyatt talked to us about this offensive line and the injuries they have and the changes they've made. You're seeing it right now. This offensive line is being dominated early on by this Tornado front.
Yeah, and what a tough assignment for an offensive line that's playing some guys who started the year as backups and that kind of thing and have shifted with all sorts of combinations to have to take on the likes of Dorsey and Smith and Grimes and Williams. Tough assignment for the Monarchs.
3rd and 15, Miller dropping back, scanning to the right, now moves away from pressure by Dorsey. He gets rid of it. It's caught right at the original line of scrimmage, and now being wrestled out of bounds is Sajari Love. Not nearly enough for a first down, so another 3 and out for the Tornado defense.
Yeah, and the Tornadoes defense was able to withstand that one mistake, the only mistake we've seen so far from the Tornadoes in all 3 phases, that penalty that set up a 1st and 5 situation, but a sack of the quarterback, a tackle for loss, and then a big quarterback hurry from Dorsey there that creates the short gain on a completion, and therefore the punt team here for Monarchs.
That one nearly blocked. It is going to bounce in front of Cooper Hogan. He'll let it roll, and it will keep rolling inside the 30 to about the 25 of Brevard. That's where they will set up for drive number 2 with Ethan Beamish and company holding a 14-0 lead about halfway through this first quarter.
Yeah, fortuitous bounce there for the Monarchs punting unit. Goes full 45 yards and makes it a little more difficult for the Tornadoes. They enjoyed some great starting field position the first time around, but handed to the Monarchs punting unit, able to flip the field here.
And it looked like Samuel Grimes almost got in there to block that punt, but Methodist was able to get it off. Motion across now once again with the 2 tight ends. Beamish will go under center with Deaton in the backfield. Play action. Beamish. Good protection. Looking down the field, and Douglas makes the catch along the sideline into Methodist territory, stepping out just past the 50 at the Methodist 49.
Once again, Adam Douglas, we've been talking about him today and how he's become, such a weapon as this season has progressed, but another big catch there for Douglas, another first down for the Tornadoes.
Beamish had good protection there and sort of looked like he didn't see anybody open until that last minute with Douglas, and Douglas just silky smooth, planting the foot down in bounds and getting a little bit of yak. Beamish hands this one off to Deaton, and he is swallowed up in the backfield. Still fighting forward, though, trying to get to the line of scrimmage, and will not. It'll be a loss of about a yard for Deaton. And we'll see what the split is like between Deaton and Lee Parker today. 83 carries on the year for Chancellor Lee Parker, 64 for Deaton.
Yeah, and keep an eye out for KJ Henderson as well. We'll see him in certain scenarios, more of kind of like that third down back, scat back type. But we'll see him as well at certain junctures, that tailback position for the Tornadoes.
2nd and 11 after the loss on the run play. Beamish in the gun, quick drop, a pump fake, and now he finds Zach Orr, who cuts back. Orr makes another cut, and he's close to the sticks. He'll make it 3rd and short, and the explosiveness of Zach Orr, you see even catching a routine 5-yard pass like that, the quicks that he has and the ability to cut on a dime are what make him dangerous.
Yeah, dangerous indeed. All over the record books here at Brevard College.
All-time career receiving yards leader.
That's right. Overtook Bubba Craven, a bit of a
Shout out
legendary
Coach
name.
Craven. It's kind of funny that Coach Craven was Zach Orr's first wide receiver coach here at Brevard when he was a freshman.
Things have come full circle now. The student surpassing the teacher.
Yep. Seth Marshall in. He motions inside. Beamish. Another quick drop. Goes out to the right. Lee Parker wide open in the flat. He's got the first and more. Makes a cut. A couple men miss. And he gets down to the Methodist 30. That was Jaron Foreman there. Free safety making the tackle for the Monarchs.
Yeah, we've seen effective passes to both Deaton and Chancellor Lee Parker now, so makes it that much more difficult on a defense. We've seen the tight end make a catch, a touchdown catch. We've seen a couple of different receivers for the Tornadoes, and now both running backs with a catch as well.
Coach Kyatt talked about a bit more conservative offense, and you're seeing it with these safe throws to open guys in space and letting them run. Beamish with a little shuffle pass to Deaton, who makes a man miss, makes another miss. He's got the first down and more, down to about the Methodist 15, maybe the 14 there. Deaton showing off his shiftiness, and that's where the change of pace between him and Lee Parker comes into play that we talked about. Lee Parker, more physical runner. Deaton, a bit more finesse and flash to his game.
Yeah, no doubt, especially once he gets into that open field, is able to, juke defenders, but Chancellor Lee Parker often takes them on head on, but, Deaton's able to juke him quite a bit with his moves, and big gainer there on bringing the Tornadoes back into the red zone once again.
Another red zone trip, and it'll start off with a handoff to Deaton, who makes another man miss and now plows forward for maybe 5 or 6 there. Tackle made there by Dominic Hyman, the field corner for Methodist. About 4.5 remaining here in quarter number 1. NATO's already holding a 14-0 lead and threatening here inside the Methodist 10-yard line. 2nd and 5 from the 8. Deaton still in there. You got Douglas and Reggie Taylor, the receivers to the right. Condensed set with Castellanos as the tight end on the left. Beamish looking over the middle. That one is caught. Reggie Taylor, redemption. Here in the first quarter, you saw him drop the open post earlier for 6. He still gets in the box regardless. Second touchdown in as many offensive drives for the NATOs. Add in the kick return touchdown, and it's 20-0 Brevard before we've even exited the first.
Yeah, that's one of those feel-good touchdowns. You were hoping that Taylor would get another opportunity after that deep shot did not connect, and this time around Taylor was able to bring it in, and another touchdown for the NATOs.
Hugo Taylor on for another extra point. Akis gets the hold down, and that one is good. It's 21-0, and man, this has just been as perfect of a start as you could ask for if you're Coach Kyatt, and we keep saying it, but they are just extremely efficient right now, and everything is going right in all 3 phases.
6 different receivers have caught passes from Beamish, including touchdowns to Castellanos and Taylor. We've seen Deaton and Lee Parker be effective on the offensive side. Beamish, 7 of 8 for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns, and we still have 4 minutes to play in the first quarter.
As good as you could draw it up if you're Coach Kyatt, and he had a feeling that the NATOs would come out strong just based off what we heard from him yesterday. He said these guys were focused, and just because of Methodist record, they were not taking them lightly at all, and it does appear that is the case here.
Yeah, you got to love this sort of focus straight from the offensive side of things. Also on defense, we've seen it on special teams.
2 3-and-outs, too, on defense.
Couple 3-and-outs on defense. Outstanding stuff.
Taylor boots this one away. Once again, it'll be fielded by Marquez Jones right at the goal line, and he's going to go from right to left here. Oh, nice block there by Methodist. There is a flag. It might have been a bit too good and illegal. That was a big-time block there by a Methodist Monarch. Didn't quite catch the number as Jones was returning that one. Looks like it might have been Bryson Osby laying that block. And it might move Methodist back, which is the last thing that they need right now for their offense.
Yeah, and once again, these Tornadoes special teams players and familiar names, Chancellor Lee Parker getting downfield.
And I was about to say, they corrected themselves. The official came out and said, added to the end of the run as if it was a penalty on the NATOs, but then corrected and said half the distance to the goal line, confirming that it was an illegal blindside block there by Methodist on the kick return. So Methodist, an offense that's gone 3-and-out on both their first 2 drives and has not really done anything, is going to be backed up inside their own 10-yard line to start off this drive.
And seeing some different personnel for the Tornadoes along that defensive line. Zion Wilson, the graduate out of Virginia. Also Schultes in there.
See Jamon Fanning at corner with Justice Redmond into the safety. Quick throw is knocked down by Redmond. He read that window perfectly. Couldn't quite get over to get both hands on it, but he knocks it down with one. And a dangerous throw there by Jaylon Miller.
Yeah, Justice Redmond, graduate student, came to Brevard out of Mars Hill, just up the road, north of Asheville.
21-0 Tornadoes here. An early beatdown so far. 2nd and 10 from the Methodist 8. Just a simple handoff, and that's not going to get a whole lot there. It's Sajari Love. Third down once again for Methodist. They are 0 for 2 on third down thus far, and NATO's trying to make it 0 for 3 and get the ball back to the offense.
Also, number 42, Elijah Brown, seeing him get in on some of this action. Sophomore out of Columbia, South Carolina. So some different personnel and some of the same success for the Tornadoes defense here.
3rd and 8. Miller looking to throw. That one is nowhere near anybody, but it looks like Jamon was holding just a little bit too much. I believe this is going to go against the Tornadoes and reward Methodist with a new set of downs. Jamon Fanning there is going to be the one penalized. It'll be a PI, not a holding call, but I mean, honestly, a bit of a bailout by the officials, because even if there was a little bit of a tug, that throw was nowhere near him. It was closer to Champ James being the intended receiver.
Yeah, so the first down of the game comes via penalty for Methodist.
It'll spot Methodist at the 21-yard line on their side of the field. We've been going a lot of pistol look. Here's once again from the pistol as Love gets nothing there.
Yeah, and Zion Wilson getting into that backfield.
Big
all
run
6
stuffer.
foot. Yeah, 6 foot, 315-pounder, and able to get in there and disrupt things right away.
Him and Justice Redmond. Redmond climbing downhill, getting to the ball carrier, and Methodist really isn't able to do anything right now, running or passing the ball, but especially that run game is just getting stuffed consistently.
Yeah, and you can see those DBs creeping up even further, bringing some heat against this Methodist attack.
Quick throw there, hauled in against Fanning by Andre Wilson. Will be close to the sticks. See if they spot him short. And it looks like they are going to reward him with the first down. So Methodist started to move the football a little bit better than they did their first 2 drives, got the penalty. And now getting the first down grab there from Andre Wilson.
Yeah, best play of the game so far by the Methodist offense.
And now whistles being blown before the snap. Let's see what's going on. You got some unhappy Tornado fans, even with a 21-0 lead. They're not happy with the officiating right now.
No doubt, so maybe once we add on a couple more touchdowns, they'll begin to relax a little bit here in the stands. Every win
these guys,
a must-win.
Passionate. Miller takes the snap, looking to the left, and the high pass there, dangerous. It is hauled in. That one is brought in by T.J. Hart, a freshman wide receiver out of Durham. But, Miller set him up badly there. Threw that one high, wobbly, and slow. That's a recipe for disaster. And Fanning did make a play there. Didn't hit him too hard, but certainly not one that you want to keep gambling on.
Yeah, and much of that starting unit across the defensive line checks back in. Dorsey and Williams and Grimes.
Got Darius Richardson in, a freshman corner, as Miller handed it to the wrong side. Looked like a bit of a miscommunication, and he is brought down immediately. Grimes and a few others in there. And it's hard to note who the individual tacklers are on a lot of these plays because the NATOs are flying to the football with such ferocity that you've got 4 or 5 blue jerseys on a given play right at the football.
Yeah, absolutely. Gang tackling in a lot of these situations.
Here's another third down for Methodist on their 35-yard line. Got some substitutions here as in comes Bryson Osby. Out goes Sajari Love. 5 wide here for the Monarchs and a timeout called by Jaylon Miller. Miscommunications there along the offense before that third down play, and already down 3 touchdowns. They decided to talk it over before this crucial down.
Tornadoes 21, Monarchs 0. 43 seconds left in the first quarter.
Back here for 3rd and 6 for the Methodist Monarchs on their own 35. 43 seconds to go here in quarter number 1. NATO's holding a comfortable 21-0 lead early on. Miller scanning, looks over the middle. That one is knocked down. Looked like Bailey Ramey might have got his hand on the football first, and then Carter Rollerson. So this Methodist drive is going to stall out as they send the punt unit out. Get a couple of first downs, one by the penalty and one by a completion on 3rd down, but not much else. Tough to score on a drive where you start on your own 8. Do get about 27 yards on that series. Cooper Hogan now back deep once again to return the punt. It'll be Kenneth Schoen. His 3rd punt of the afternoon. He catches the snap. NATO's bring heat. He does get it off once again as Hogan has it bounce, and he's going to pick it up off a bounce like an infielder in baseball and just get a couple of yards after scooping that one up. So the NATOs will start just inside their own 30 at the 29. Beamish in the offense, incredibly efficient through 2 drives. Couple of touchdowns, Ian Castellanos and Reggie Taylor. And I just want to say Reggie Taylor owes me because both games that I've been on the mic for the Tornadoes, Reggie Taylor has reached the end zone. Have to make sure that he knows that after the game. Coming across in motion, Cooper Hogan. Rennie and Orr on the right side, and it's a screen to Hogan, and he is tackled right at the line of scrimmage. That was Rasan Garland, who was unblocked, making the play there.
Hogan, the 7th different receiver here in this first quarter for Beamish. So really some variety as far as this passing attack for the Tornadoes.
And that will be the final play of the first quarter, so things going about as well as they possibly could for Brevard as they lead at 21-0. We head to the second here at Ives Lamel.
I've taken jumps in my academic career, and I've taken jumps in just socializing and getting out and getting to do things I've never done before.
The thing that brought me to Brevard is the experiential learning. I've always been a hands-on guy.
I love it here at Brevard. Over Christmas break, I was itching to come back because I love the area so much.
Experiential learning here is beyond all of my expectations.
Brevard College, a top choice for students around the world.
Second quarter of action here at Ives Lamel Family Field. NATO's gain of a yard on a screen to Cooper Hogan to end the first, and now they come back out with the offensive unit.
Yeah, and a dominant first quarter. Total yards, 117 to 12.
And that doesn't even account for the Orr kickoff return touchdown.
That's right. Another 90 on top of that.
Yep. 200-plus all-purpose yards for the NATOs in quarter number 1. And now here's Orr motioning across. He's going to get a little toss from Beamish. He's got blockers and space. Orr past the sticks for a first down, past the Brevard 40. And that's speed. I mean, he's a little guy. He's like a little blur flying across the screen.
Yeah, and statistically, that's ruled a pass. Beamish now 9 of 10 in completions.
If you're Beam, you'll take the passing yards. You'll take the statistics.
And for Orr's purposes, he probably prefers the receiving yards compared to a rush.
Right. Orr in the backfield here once again to Beamish's left with Taylor to the right. Here's a trick play. Double reverse. Beamish deep down the field. Taylor wide open again. Reggie Taylor. He cribs it on the trick play. 27-0 double reverse, and Reggie Taylor honestly could have a hat trick right now. Instead, he'll have to settle for just 2 touchdowns in the first half.
And the trick play fooled Methodist entirely because Taylor was wide open along that far sideline.
Essentially, you saw Orr and Reggie Taylor both in the backfield there. They saw the toss to Orr, who reversed it back to Hogan, who reversed it back to Ethan Beamish. And at that point, Reggie Taylor, with his speed, you can't let him have that kind of time. He's wide open down the right side and unaccounted for. 6 more for Brevard.
59 yards. Another chunk play for the Tornadoes.
Coach Kayat with a little bit of showmanship on that one. 28-0 after the Hugo Taylor PAT. And, I don't want to say this too prematurely, but Coach Kayat did tell us yesterday that if the game goes the way he's hoping, he wants to see some of the seniors who we don't necessarily see very often get into this game. And if the game keeps trending the way that it has thus far, it seems like we do have a good shot at seeing that.
Yeah, no doubt. That's certainly a bonus if the Tornadoes are able to continue on this track. Hugo Taylor out to kick off again. Worth mentioning Hugo Taylor. We talked to Coach Kite a little bit about that. This is the first game this season we've seen him in this kickoff role. They had him focus entirely on field goals and extra points because last season he was doing it all.
Yep.
Field goals, extra points, kickoffs, and, there's some, attrition that can happen when a kicker is getting that much use. Well, this year, sort of the flip happened. Hugo wasn't handling the kickoffs, but he wasn't getting enough work with just field goal attempts.
Coach Kaya said he was getting a little bit cold as Wilson is going to return this one, or rather no, Marquez Jones. He'll get out to about the 30, and a flag flies in late. You got a helmet flying off of a Methodist player. That was number 43, Damian McFarland, who had his helmet knocked off by a tornado. Methodist 0-4 on the road this year, so well on their way to completing a imperfect road season without a win away from home. Only have one total on the year, and that was in Fayetteville. Riding a 5-game losing streak, and the NATOs right now look like they're in a good spot to make it 6 early on.
Yeah, it's been a tough season for Methodist. They had a lot of the tools back that they were hoping for a solid year. The coaching staff back for another year. Coach Kayat spoke very highly of that group, but it seems like these injuries, that offensive line in particular, has really made things challenging for the Monarchs this year.
The penalty was a face mask against the Tornadoes, so Methodist will have by far their best starting field position of the day at their own 45 to begin this one.
Makes the challenge for the Tornado defense that much tougher, when the opponent's got good field position like this.
Miller, a handoff here to Love, who bounces off a couple of tackles, but then is met behind the line of scrimmage. And now Brooks Ashford on the ground, an injured Tornado. We'll step aside for a moment while he gets checked on. Brooks Ashford being helped off the field. Tornado that last season went all through camp and then had an eligibility issue and was not able to play in the 2023 season. Comes back this year and has been a contributor at that linebacker position for the NATOs. So hopefully it's nothing serious for him.
Yeah, been a big part of that linebacking core all season long. The senior from Orangeburg, South Carolina.
2nd and 11 after the loss on the run play once again. Jalon Miller takes it to speed option, and a toss to the left is blown up there. He will be dragged back. That's Brandon Broughton getting in on the play and making hard contact there as the rest of the NATOs help clean it up.
Yeah, Brandon, another newcomer to the Tornadoes, a freshman, spent some time with the Georgia Knights, who, we've seen play our Futures program here at Brevard College, and a great example, again, of one of these Futures players who's earned their way on to the varsity team.
So 3rd and long here, 3rd and 17 to be exact. Methodist just going backwards on a drive where they got really good field position to start. Man comes across in motion for Methodist. Now Miller looks for a quick screen, and it's going to be stopped well short, nearly to the original line of scrimmage, but not close to enough. That's Ty Benton on the catch for the Monarchs. He'll get a couple, but another Methodist punt coming here, and that is all that they've done. Busiest player of the day has been Kenneth Schoen.
Yeah, the Tornadoes holding Methodists to well under 1 yard per play.
You got Martin Bayless right in the booth next to us dialing it up. Schoen fumbles the snap for a moment, does get it away. Hogan will let this one bounce. And it'll land at around the 11-yard line of Brevard, so that's where they'll take over. NATO's 3 for 3 in terms of hitting the end zone on their offensive drives.
Yeah, been just outstanding. 9 first downs in total. 149 passing yards from Ethan Beamish. 10 of 11 now, and we mentioned it, 7 different receivers.
And you got to wonder if this continues and the NATOs get another touchdown or two, do we even see Beamish in the second half?
It's a fair point. Maybe you take him into the third quarter for a few series.
Maybe a series or two, yeah. Beamish with a handoff here to Chancellor Lee Parker, who tries to bounce to the right and does break off a tackle, and now another one. He's past the sticks, and a big gain for Chance. Looked like that play was stuffed at the line, and Lee Parker just so strong and powerful that he's able to bounce off defenders and get really good yardage there. About 15 on the run for Chance.
That's a Brevard College first down.
And the NATOs just continue to move the chains.
10th first down, and haven't even played 4 minutes here in the second quarter.
It almost feels unfair. These are not the same level of team. Beamish, another handoff here to number 1. Lee Parker cuts inside, makes a man miss, is hit hard there after a gain of about 6. It's number 12, Jerron Foreman, coming in and popping Chancellor Lee Parker. Set up a 2nd and short for Brevard. Quaylar comes off the field. Blake Shepard comes in. Orr lines up here to the boundary on the left side. Castellanos, the tight end, that way. And now he motions across to the right with Shepard as Cooper Hogan is out wide. Hogan motioning in. Now another run here to Lee Parker, who makes a man miss and then is hit past the sticks for another first down. That's Trey Willoughby, the D end. Another pretty powerful hit there, but Lee Parker just keeps churning along.
Yeah, absolutely. And some great work from that offensive line on that play as well. That left side, Bernard Wirtz and Brody Lindsay paving the way.
Joseph Quaylar back in there with Castellanos, a 2 tight end set. 12 personnel for the NATOs with Deaton back. Or condensed to the left. Hogan out way wide to the right. Now a toss to Deaton, who will just get a couple on the first down run. Maybe 2 yards there as Damian Harris makes the stop.
More of a concerted effort this drive to run the ball, maybe chew some clock as we.
Yeah, I think Coach Kyatt got as fancy as we're going to see him get the rest of the way that last drive with that double reverse touchdown pass. Second down, 2 backs in the backfield, Deaton and Lee Parker. And Beamish will drop back to pass. Pressure in his face. He steps up, throws down the right side, and that one is nearly picked. Almost taken away there by Carlos Mendez, but he couldn't get his hands on the football quite enough. Beamish gets away with his really only mistake thus far, and it'll set up 3rd and long for the NATOs on their own 47. Zach Orr coming off the field here. Seth Marshall and Adam Douglas, the receivers to the left. Hogan to the right. Deaton to Beamish's left hip. Hogan motions in. Beamish surveilling. Looking, slings a missile over the middle, caught by Douglas, who cuts back to the left. Has some space. Another juke move, and he is inside the Methodist 30. Big 3rd down conversion for the NATOs. Adam Douglas moves the chains there. Jerron Foreman bringing him down.
3rd catch of the day for Adam Douglas, and he seems to come up big in these 3rd down situations. Go-to receiver in a lot of those opportunities, and once again, big catch for Douglas.
You saw more good protection there, and Beamish just unloaded a seed over the middle there too and uncovered Douglas.
Yeah, Douglas had 9 catches for 71 yards, 2 touchdowns versus LaGrange, 3 for 61 last week at Huntington.
That time, Chance diving forward for a couple. NATO's getting close to another red zone trip here.
Yeah, and chewing some clock, forcing the Methodist defense to have to labor through this quarter even further.
Beamish in the shotgun with Jaden Deaton to his right. You got a couple of receivers in tight to the left and right. Bolton and Orr to the right. Beamish is going to look right as he's flushed out with pressure. He avoids the sack, throws it up for Orr, and he can't come down with it. Zach Orr nearly had a fabulous back shoulder touchdown there. Could not quite haul it in. One-on-one coverage, and not a bad idea by Beamish to give Orr a chance there. And Zach Orr, not the tallest wide receiver in the world, listed at 5'9", as his friend. He's not quite 5'9", but still almost making a great grab there in the back of the end zone.
I believe it was Carlos Mendez at that cornerback position, and he might have gotten a hand in there as well. Nice job staying in the vicinity of Orr.
Trips to the right now here. It's like Rennie, Castellanos, and Taylor. That's where Beam's going to look. Rolls back to the left now, and that one's knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Methodist finally gets a stop here, and it looks like NATO's will try a 42-yard field goal. Hugo Taylor. The offense doesn't want to come off. Beamish wants to go for it, and it looks like that might be what they ended up doing. The field goal team was on their way out. Beamish kind of waved them off the field, said, no, we want to keep putting our foot on their throats. Play clock is already down to 14. They're going to have to break the huddle quickly if they want to get this off. And if they do call a timeout, I have a feeling Coach Kyatt resorts back to the field goal team. 5 on the play clock. Beamish, 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. He looks left, throws it up for Orr. Touchdown, Zach Orr! He's into the end zone for the 2nd time today. Orr entered the day with 5 touchdowns. He's up to 6 receiving. 8 all-purpose. Remember, he also had a punt return touchdown at Southern Virginia. Big day for Orr, big day for Reggie Taylor, both of them with multi-touchdown games already in the first half. Ethan Beamish already with 4 touchdown tosses in half number 1 as Taylor lines up for the PAT, and this is just turning into a slaughtering. Taylor no good on that extra point. So 34-0 after Zach Orr finds the end zone. He almost had him on the back shoulder on that far side. Beamish comes right back to him on 4th down.
4th and 7. Beamish waves off the field goal unit. I've got this. And indeed, he knew what he was doing and dialed up who else but Zachary Orr.
Right.
Got the play off just before the play clock was about to expire.
And it wasn't like 4th and short and he just tried to get it to the sticks. No, he went for the jugular and succeeded.
199 yards, 4 touchdowns on 12 of 16 passing for Ethan Beamish.
In the words of Larry David, pretty good. So now we've got Vargas on for the kickoff. We saw Hugo Taylor handling the kickoff duties earlier, and now it's back to the freshman Vargas, who has been the normal kickoff guy this season for the most part.
Yeah, we've seen Vargas, we've seen Akis, we've seen Hugo Taylor in that kickoff position. Versatile group of kickers.
Even a little bit of Joshua Childs as well, as this return is brought down at the 25. He looks like he was down. It is fumbled late, but the returner was down. It was Marquez Jones there going right to left and setting up the Monarch offense with 7.5 to go here in the second. And defensively, you know, the NATOs have had James Woods out there. He has not been targeted yet in this one. And it is just like, as you mentioned during the break, Jock Pledger was. And Jock Pledger is in the building. Notable alumni, the former All-American. Blessed to be teammates with Jock for 7 years of my 8-year football career.
Yeah, this feels like a little bit of a class of 2024 reunion for a lot of your guys, Brady.
Yeah, we got Eli Carr in the building, Lena Hatter, Taylor Willis. We've got some big names here back in the B as this one's thrown up down the left sideline, trying the freshman there, freshman DB Darius Richardson, and he holds his own. We heard from Coach Kide. He was another one of those guys that moved up, and Coach Kide told us this guy can play at that cornerback position. You see them going after him there.
Yeah, Florida product out of Winter Haven, Florida, right in the middle of the state. And great to have him up here in the mountains as a Tornado.
A little bit of a change of scenery. You see Woods here as the field side corner. 2nd and 10, Jalon Miller brings a man across and hands this one off to number 33, Kyan McCollum. Just a gain of a couple. Another 3rd down, and Methodist has converted 1 3rd down. Did get a 1st down earlier due to a penalty, but they have converted 1 3rd down themselves, and they've been consistently long distances as well on these money downs, as they call it. Miller, 3 to the right. He looks to the left, though. Quick pass caught on the slant, and now taking off in the open field at the 30, the 20. Woods trying to chase him down. He will not get him. Methodist is on the board. And that is number 80, Jalen Pyle, taking it to the crib. Sort of just one-on-one there on the slant, and the missed tackle leads to a big play for Methodist. There won't be a shutout today for the Tornado defense. Their first sort of crack in the armor, but still holding a 28-point lead at the moment.
But a big play, 71 yards from the Methodist offense.
So finally, something positive for the Monarchs. Really haven't had that in any of the 3 phases as the PAT is put through. It's 34-7. Whistles are blowing here following the PAT. We'll see what happened. We'll say Woods there came out of nowhere, nearly able to make the tackle, coming all the way from the far side. Had a lot of ground to make up, nearly did it, and just missed the shoestring tackle at about the 10. nothing of note following those whistles. Jeremiah Lane and Zach Orr getting back deep to return once again. See if the NATOs can keep piling on. At some point, we might have to start looking and seeing what the single game touchdown leader is passing wise for Brevard. I know, I believe Eli Carr had a 4-touchdown game freshman year against Huntington here on this same field. Actually, the first game ever played on this field.
What a blessing that is to have football back here at Brevard College. Played for many years over at the high school stadium.
Yep.
Here in Brevard.
At Brevard High School. Sam Andre ready to boot this one away after Methodist finally gets on the board. And this is a squibber. It'll be picked up by Rennie as he slides and just hauls it underneath his arms down at about the 31-yard line.
Was able to catch up with George Rennie's family before the game. They're here for senior day.
All the way from Ohio, right?
Well, that's their original home. They're over down here in North Carolina, I think, at the moment. But they've got a Browns jersey here at Eyes Lamel Family Field with the Rennie name on the back of it.
Nice. 34-7 NATO lead here. About 6.5 to go in the opening half. Reggie Taylor motions across. Now comes back in an arc motion. Beamish finds Cooper Hogan here, who's going to cut back, get a couple of blocks, and maybe get 4 or 5 there on the reception. Omar Goodwin on the tackle. Goodwin really the highlight of this Methodist defense. Has been exceptional this year with 63 tackles, 4th in the USA South, 7.5 TFLs, which is good for 5th, and then 3rd in the conference with 3 sacks. That Mike linebacker for the Monarchs. 2nd and 7 after the reception from Cooper Hogan. Lee Parker in the backfield, and he'll get it here. Cutting to the right and being chopped down immediately. No gain there for Chance. Tackle made by Darnell Alexander Jr., the free safety. Third and 6 for the NATOs, and I will say Methodist did give up the 4th down touchdown, but their defense has looked like it's adjusted just a little bit these last 2 or 3 drives, making things a bit tougher for the NATOs. Obviously had the trick play touchdown as well. See Alex Bolton out wide here, near side. Beamish is going to go to Jack Spots, though, right at the sticks, and he's going to get the first down.
And another target for Beamish. Now 8 different receivers as Jack Spots getting in on the action.
One of Coach Kayat's guys, as he calls him, Little Jackie Spots, getting the first down there. And again, as you mentioned, Beamish just finding different guys all day long and keeping this Methodist defense on their toes.
3rd catch of the season for Spots.
Deaton in the backfield. Fake toss to Orr, and now a toss to Douglas, who's not going to have a lot of space to work with here. He's brought down right near the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 1. Tyler Jackson making the stop there.
Brought down by number 22, Tyler Jackson.
Four minutes and 10 seconds remaining in half number 1. NATOs have a 2nd and 9 after the little trickery there. Fake shuffle pass to Orr, and then did shuffle pass it to Adam Douglas. Lee Parker back in, seeing the backs rotate a bit more frequently here on this series. Seth Marshall motions across to the right. Beamish under pressure. He steps up. He gets out of a sack. Throws this one to the sticks. It's Zach Orr who cuts back, makes a man miss, and is going to get some yards after the catch to about the Methodist 41-yard line. Tyler Jackson once again there with the tackle, but Ethan Beamish just Yeah, I mean, we've seen the improvisation skills that he has, escaping the sack there and finding his number one target right at the chains, who gets some extra yardage after the grab.
Yeah, and that extra yardage just sensational. Probably earned an additional 8 to 10 yards there and making a couple guys miss, and even after contact, a few more yards.
Blake Shepard, the H comes across. Lee Parker gets the carry, cuts back on one man, and he'll get about 3. NATO's trying to add one more score to their tally before the half. 34-7 lead. By no means a nail-biter at the moment.
It was the 9th carry for Chancellor Lee Parker as Deaton checks back in.
Beamish with Deaton to his left. Little shuffle toss there to Deaton, who has space, has blocks, makes one man miss, and then is brought down hard. That's number 12, Jerron Foreman, bringing down Deaton, but it's another Tornado first down.
Yeah, Jaden Deaton showing some of his toughness as well, able to get there in space and then take on the Methodist defender. The 16th first down of the game for the NATOs.
And that is going to be the 2-minute timeout here. We'll step aside for just a moment. NATO's driving, trying to add on to a 34-7 lead.
Every cheer, for every play, we know there's a little prayer that no one gets hurt. That's why we are there too. Party athletic trainers, physicians, and specialists. We're watching closely for any sign that someone needs care. And if your child is hurt, they're seen right away by the region's top specialists. The Party Sports Medicine team is at every game, match, race, practice, and workout, providing medical attention and guidance. For us, winning is all about playing healthy and smart so you can perform at your best.
Out of the 2-minute timeout here. Tornadoes inside the Methodist 30. Creeping up on the red zone once again, holding a 34-7 lead. Chancellor Lee Parker is the back pistol set here for the NATOs. Blitz coming off the edge. There's a flag that flies in. Parker gets a couple of yards, and we'll see what this flag is about. Chance on the ground, slow to get up here. Omar Goodwin had the stop. And a lot to sort out here. It'll be against the Tornadoes. And we will step aside to break down what happened as they tend to Chancellor Lee Parker. Back here in just a moment. Lee Parker coming off the field under his own strength. That's a good sign. The flag was an illegal formation against the Tornadoes, so they're backed up 5. Just outside of that Methodist 30-yard line now. 1st and 15, just under 2 minutes to go. Hogan comes out. See Alex Bolton and Castellanos in tight to the left. Looks like maybe Will Marshall out wide to the right as Quaylar comes across the second tight end. It's a play-action boot. Beamish throws it back across to Castellanos, who climbs the ladder to make the grab, and Can't get a whole lot after the catch, but a flag does fly in, and this could be against the Monarchs. It was kind of an awkward play there. The pressure got right in Beam's face on the bootleg. He threw it a kind of high pass to Castellanos, who had to jump off the ground to get it, sort of falling out of bounds as he made the grab. Didn't get a whole lot after the catch. Not sure he even got back to the line of scrimmage. But there is a penalty, and we'll see who it goes against. It'll be a holding call against the NATOs, so the odds of getting in the end zone are decreasing with these last couple of plays. This one's going to set them outside the Methodist 40. It'll be first and
24,
25.
it looks like, yeah. What we call around here first and Hendersonville.
Quaylar motions across once again. And it's a run play to Deaton. Cuts to the left, puts his head down, and seeking contact there. Gets some decent yardage back inside the Methodist 40. Goodwin once again making the play for the Monarchs. Second and 17, 8-yard gain by Jaden Deaton, and we'll see how aggressive Coach Kayat chooses to play this as the clock is dwindling down within a minute. Big lead. Here's a toss play to Deaton. Cuts back, makes one man miss, hurdles another defender, and is brought down just shy of the chains. Time being called here. Whistle's blown. And there is a flag. Deaton upset that his efforts may have been all for naught.
Yeah, we'll see what the flag's all about.
Looks like it's against George Rennie, who's not sure what he did wrong.
That'll back up the Tornadoes even further.
Yeah, so looking like we might be at 34-7 as we get to the half. NATO's with a long way to go in less than a minute and holding a 34-7 lead. Clock starts to run. And I would imagine this might just be a simple handoff here. On second and 27. NATO's kind of shoot themselves in the foot on this final drive of the half, but still holding a big-time lead. Beamish, a toss play out to Deaton. Deaton in space, another flag coming in. He's brought down by a gang of Monarchs. Blackstock now on the ground. He's able to get up, but NATO's going to move back even further here.
This game's come to a screeching halt here in the final minutes of the second quarter.
First half has lasted just a little over an hour. And no, this is against the defense. Surprising based on where that flag was. NATO's will be moved up and might be in a position where they can at least attempt a field goal here. And we've got a timeout coming. We'll take it with them. 34-7. NATO's leading, and they have it on the Methodist 24-yard line when we return. Just over 15 seconds remaining here in half number one. NATO's with a commanding 34-7 lead. They've got the ball on the Methodist 25-yard line. See if they go with a run or a pass here. And if they want to set up Hugo Taylor to try a field goal to make it a 30-point lead as we head to the locker room. Spots, Rennie, and Orr, the three to the left. Douglas alone to the right. Beamish Looking to pass down the left side. Orr makes the catch. It's a hat trick for Zach Orr on senior day. In the left side of the end zone, Zach Orr is in for 6. Great throw, great catch, and an exclamation point on this first half for the Tornadoes. Zach Orr started the game off with the fireworks, had the kickoff return touchdown, had a 4th down receiving touchdown, and now here right before the break finds the box yet again.
And touchdown pass number 5 for Ethan Beamish in this first half.
Puts him at 20 on the year. Unbelievable from that duo. As Taylor's extra point comes flying in, there's a flag.
Yeah, Beamish now 17 of 21, 250 yards, the 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, hasn't been sacked. And Orr, as you mentioned, the 2 receiving touchdowns, the kickoff return for a touchdown, a 90-yarder. Reggie Taylor with a pair of touchdowns.
And that kick is good by Taylor after the penalty. Just a great first half of the Tornadoes. That's the only way to put it. I mean, it's been as good as you could ask for. We've said it repeatedly. Just dominant execution. Should see a kickoff and then a kneel down likely for Jalon Miller and the Monarchs.
Yeah, total yards, Brevard 353 to just 80 for the Monarchs here in this first half.
41-7. NATOs have it rolling on senior day, and worth noting that the NATOs have lost the last 2 senior days they played here against Belhaven in 2022 and then Huntington, the heartbreaker last season. So good to see them getting a victory here on senior day. Last time that we saw that was against Averett in the 2021 season. Remember that blowout victory with Eli Carr under center. I actually believe that game was a healthy mix of Eli Carr and Dalton Cole in that one. Dalton Cole also in the building today, as Vargas sends this one deep to the left, hauled in by Jones. He'll take it out. Flag flies in. He does have space and is brought down by a swarm of Tornadoes. That will be the final play of half number 1, regardless of what this penalty is, it seems. Unless they get an untimed down just to kneel it.
Yeah, a lot of flags between the 2 teams in this final minute or so.
I was about to say, I don't know if you have Vegas betting lines on the USA South, but somebody might have the over on penalties. Penalty is declined, and that'll be the end of the first half. Folks, we're about to step aside. We'll be back before the second half starts with stats, thoughts, and recap. But the NATOs with a dominant effort in half number 1. They lead it 41-7 behind 5 touchdown passes from Ethan Beamish, 3 total touchdowns from Zach Orr, and a dominant defensive showing.
Back here at Eyes Lamel Family Field, a 41-7 lead for the Tornadoes here at halftime. Ethan Beamish, 17 of 21 for 250 yards, 5 touchdowns. Zachary Orr, 5 catches for 85 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns, also a kickoff return touchdown of 90 yards. Reggie Taylor with a pair of touchdowns. Chancellor Lee Parker getting it done on the ground along with Jaden Deaton with 57 and 46 yards rushing, respectively. Also a touchdown from Ian Castellanos. Just a dominant performance for the Tornadoes. We really appreciate you spending your Saturday with us and checking out Brevard College Tornadoes here on this YouTube channel. And we know you've got all sorts of viewing choices, so we'd love to keep you up to date on what's going on around the world of college football, joined by our play-by-play announcer today, Brady Penn. Brady, what are you noticing across the world of college football so far?
Well, the big game today was Ohio State and Penn State. Ohio State right now, the Buckeyes leading 14-10 over the Nittany Lions on the road. They've got the football right at midfield, about 10 minutes remaining in that first half. Miami in a close one with Duke, up 3 right now with 4:51 remaining before the half. They do have the football. Ole Miss pummeling Arkansas 28-9, and then the Army Air Force game. One of the teams, I forget which one, is missing their normal starting quarterback. Army leads that one 6-3. Minnesota and Illinois all knotted up, and that's pretty much everything going on across the top 25 right now. And then, of course, within the USA South Conference, most games starting at 1 o'clock Central Time, so towards the tail end of ours at least. Maryville and Belhaven and LaGrange Huntington both 2 o'clock Eastern Time kickoffs.
Yeah, you mentioned that Miami-Duke game. Former Miami coach
Manny Diaz.
Diaz now, at the helm of Duke, making his first trip back to Miami as an opposing coach. So that'll be interesting how that one shakes out. And then plenty more action later today, 3:30 p.m. Oregon, Michigan. Also Florida, Georgia, that rivalry going down in Jacksonville at 3:30. Texas Tech against Iowa State, Indiana, Michigan State, Kansas State, Houston, Texas A&M, South Carolina, and Louisville, Clemson. I know
the Brevard, that one might be a pretty good matchup.
Yeah, in the Brevard College baseball team's actually down there doing some fundraising work at Clemson today. So best of luck to them on those endeavors. But yeah, great day of college football yet again, and again, really appreciate people choosing to spend their Saturdays with us here on this YouTube channel. Well, Brady, you make your return here to Brevard College. You're the play-by-play announcer across so many of our sports. You're a football student athlete, you're now a graduate of Brevard College. Before we get into what you're up to now, just how does it feel to be back here on campus and be with some of your old teammates and see that some of your fellow alums coming back on this same weekend?
Man, it's amazing. Like you said, a bunch of people slid back for this weekend, like Eli Carr, Lena Hatter, Taylor Willis, Jock Pledger. We've even got the likes of Dalton Cole in the house and a bunch more that I've seen. And just getting to see everybody once again that is still here and reconnect with them has just been incredible. Getting the opportunity to see you and Joseph and everybody and be on the mic has been amazing. I mean, it's been a 10 out of 10 experience so far, and I mean, the icing on the cake has been this dominant performance by the Tornadoes.
Yeah, 41-7. What a first half by the Tornadoes as we continue here at halftime at Eyes Lamel Family Field. Well, Brady Penn, graduate of Brevard College, class of 2024. You're in the sports business. You're in the athletics business. You've been continuing your media career as well. Love for you to catch up the audience, what you've been up to since graduation at Brevard.
Yeah, so since graduating, back in the summer, I started off working an internship with 680 The Fan. Worked that throughout the summer months, the biggest sports radio network in the Southeast. It was a super cool experience, very hands-on, met a lot of really cool professionals that I was able to connect with, got to do some things with the press at Braves games, got to work as a working member of the media, golf tournaments, all that good stuff. And then after that, an opportunity arose for me to work with Georgia Tech football. And so that's where I've been this season, is working coaches video for the Georgia Tech football program, going on road trips, being around the team every day, and doing the film. I have the honor of doing the end zone tight angle for the Jackets, and it's just been phenomenal. My childhood team growing up, being able to work closely within the program with all the coaches and players has been amazing. And then looking forward to doing some exciting stuff possibly in the offseason with more Georgia Tech athletics, possibly some media opportunities. And then even on the side, I actually have launched a brand with another friend of mine called Blitz Sports Media, and we've been weekly podcasts 4 or 5 times a week. We've got a website up and running that we've started to monetize, and there's a lot of really cool things going on right now. Very blessed and very excited for the future.
You mentioned Georgia Tech football, having the opportunity to travel with that team. That included a season-opening trip to Ireland, of all places, where Georgia Tech defeated Florida State. Tell us about that experience.
It was incredible. It was actually my first time out of the country, and got to travel with the team. And it was funny. You know who was on our flight was Nick Saban. Nick Saban was on our plane and got a nice
heading over there for college game day?
Yeah, he had some strings to pull because he's tight with Coach Key. He didn't want to fly on the regular flight with the rest of the game day guys, I guess. I don't know. But Coach Key and him go way back. He was on our flight. It was a great experience once we got there. Even practice is just beautiful up there in Ireland. Everybody was super cool, hospitable, and it was funny. All the Irish people were, "Oh, are you with Georgia Tech?" "Oh, yeah, we sure are." And they were treating us really good. The game was phenomenal. The venue, the stadium, Aviva Stadium, was an incredible stadium to look at and to experience. And obviously the game went incredibly with Georgia Tech hitting a walk-off field goal to win. And let's just say, as a staff, we had a really good time that night and the whole week.
Awesome stuff. Well, congrats on the way things are going so far career-wise. You know, the great opportunity with the biggest sports talk radio station in the Southeast in Atlanta, and then now working with Georgia Tech on the football side of things and getting your own endeavors going as well, and a lot of exciting possibilities there. How did Brevard College prepare you for this sort of career in sports media and in the sports business that you're enjoying now?
I mean, number one is just really the reps, because the reps bring confidence. And I remember early on as a sophomore reaching out to you, seeing if I could call a basketball game, get the opportunity to do that. One women's basketball game turned into 40, 50 of them. Then did men's basketball, baseball, softball, even lacrosse, which I had no experience with. And it just really equipped me to hone my skills. Eventually, we got to a point where we were comfortable sending out my stuff and getting feedback and critiques from professionals in the industry, which was big time, helped me learn what my strengths and weaknesses were as I continue to do. And, I think that's the number one thing I would say is just the experience as a whole. Got to learn some things that I also didn't realize go into broadcasting on the technical aspect.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, can't wait to see what's next for you, Brady. Best of luck through the rest of the Georgia Tech season and beyond. How do folks follow you and the group you're working with as well on social media?
Well, we've got our brand's Twitter is @BlitzSM_. You can find Blitz Sports Media on Instagram too, TikTok, all those good things. And as for me personally, just find my Twitter account, BradyPenn21. That's probably the main thing that I'm on. If you want to keep up with me or the brand and just see what we've got going on, feel more than free.
Awesome stuff. Well, stick with us, folks. Great to have Brady Penn back with us for this Senior Day edition of Brevard College football. Later today, women's soccer, huge USA South Conference first-round matchup as the women's soccer team looks to continue its undefeated season and continue their great things this year, regular season champs in the USA South Conference. But second half action between Methodist and Brevard will be coming up shortly. Thanks again, Brady. Great to have you with us.
Absolutely. Thanks, Phil. Back here for the second half, folks. Brady Penn along with Phil DeMont Molinados with a big-time 41-7 lead, and posed this earlier in the first half. Wonder how much we're going to see of Ethan Beamish and the regulars offensively, especially if they get a score on the opening series.
Yeah, Beamish 17-21, 250 yards, 5 touchdowns. And
Did we ever find that all-time record, single game?
we'll have to dig that up for you here. So he's matched the all-time record already.
With
so
5, okay.
Big
So
opportunity.
I wonder if Coach Kite is aware of that, if he's going to try and get him another or not.
Yeah, that's always interesting how much the record books come into play. But what a first half for the NATOs. Just dominant. 353 to 80 in total yards, and 71 of those 80 came from one play for Methodist.
Yep. NATO's leading at 41-7 as Vargas to kick this one away. It's brought in by Jones at around the 15, a shorter kick. He goes right to left. He does have blockers, and he is brought down hard there. That was George Rennie making the play.
Other than a missed extra point, the special teams have looked sharp for the Tornadoes on kickoff coverage and, of course, a kickoff return for a touchdown to start this contest by Zachary Orr.
And Orr has just been one of the main stories in this one, that kickoff return and then 2 receiving touchdowns in the second quarter. Got to find out what the single-game all-purpose touchdown record is, too, for the NATOs. Might have some record-breaking performances today. Jaylon Miller and the Methodist offense. With their first series, he has immediate pressure. He's flushed out to the left, and that one is going to be hauled in. Looks like Ty Benton making the grab there. And now the officials may wave this one off. It was an awkward play. Miller was immediately ran out to the left. The underthrown ball to an open receiver, and it hit the turf. Will stand as called a completion by Jaylon Miller to start off half number 2. Motion across, and now a handoff to Sajari Love, who gets nothing. Obi Grimes on the tackle there, the junior defensive end.
Yeah, Tornado's rushing defense has just been sensational. Now, there has been a couple of sacks, so, that goes into these rushing totals, but negative 12 yards rushing for Methodist. Just unable to get anything going. Longest rush of the day for the Monarchs, 4 yards.
Third and about 3 for Methodist. Miller looks for a quick throw to the right. It is hauled in, maybe just short of the sticks. We'll see where they spot this, and no, they're going to give him the first down. That's Ty Benton once again. So a new set of downs for the Monarchs. Really just had one big play in that first half. Other than that, a pretty perfect defensive performance by the Tornadoes. Handoff here to Love. Tries to get outside of the right and get a block, and Woods is going to force him out of bounds after a gain of maybe 6. Methodist right at midfield now on this opening drive of the second half. On the plus side of the field, technically at the Brevard 49, as here's Love with another run, and it's immediately blown up. Looked like Ernest Smith getting in there. Robert Dorsey and Bailey Ramey in as well.
Yeah, seeing that starting defensive unit that we saw in the first half back out there for the NATOs.
Here's another third and short for Methodist. About 2.5 into half number 2. A quick glance, and now taking off is Jalon Miller. He will get big yardage down inside the Tornado 30. Champ James brings him down. Just took a quick look over to the right and darted off towards the middle of the field.
Yeah, 23 yards. So where the Monarchs have been successful.
Play, right?
Yeah, 71-yard pass earlier that went for a touchdown, and then big run here.
Miller this time steps up, thinks about taking off, and instead throws it into coverage where James completely blankets the receiver, Anthony Melvin. Second down inside the Brevard 30. Deepest into Brevard territory that Methodist has gotten on a sustained drive. Obviously did have the 71-yard touchdown grab. Love motioned out. Miller looking to the right, pump fakes. Now he's going to step up, and he is brought down by Jordan Ramey just past the line of scrimmage. Another third down upcoming for the Methodist offense. Their most prolonged drive of the afternoon.
Methodist 3 of 7 in this third down department this contest.
3rd and 8. NATO's one of the best third down defenses in the conference. Miller looks to the right, and that one is knocked up in the air and incomplete. Brandon Broughton, who has been active in this one, with another pass breakup.
Yeah, fantastic coverage that time from Broughton.
And this will be a 4th down attempt by Methodist. NATO defense is 4th in 3rd down and 4th down percentage across the USA South. It's kind of right in the middle of the pack in both of those regards. Opponents are 33% on 4th down, so roughly 1 out of every 3 the Tornadoes have given up. And this is 4th and 8. Perhaps a time pressure coming here by the NATOs. Miller throws this one up. Woods gets his hands on the football, knocks it away. Nearly a 4th straight game with an interception for James Woods, who is slow to get up. He did launch himself up in the air trying to get to that one. You see what Miller saw, but when it's James Woods on that side, you got to be careful. And now Woods gets up, hobbles off. Huge, critical part of this Tornado defense. Got to hope he's good to go not only for the rest of this game, but for the stretch run.
Yeah, big-time play there by James Woods. What a season he's having. Had that big pick 6 and won USA South Conference honors this past week after that performance at Huntington, and just been sensational all year long. Did it again right there.
2 of the last 3 games, he's been part of the NATO's offense as a cornerback, as Lee Parker has nowhere to go there, maybe a couple on the outside run. But as a cornerback, he has been turning defense into offense at times when the NATO offense hasn't quite been consistent enough over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, just a dynamic player all the way around, and hopefully James is going to be able to return after nicking himself up, making a sensational pass breakup there on 4th down.
Rennie and Hogan out of the right or to the left on the boundary. Lee Parker gets a crease and has a 1st down and more, wrapped up and brought out of bounds just shy of the Brevard 45. That's Josiah Young pulling Lee Parker out of bounds there. Castellanos comes off.
Once again, that left side of the offensive line, Brody Lindsay and Bernard Wirtz leading the charge.
5 minutes into this second half, NATO's leading at 41-7. Shepard comes across, another handoff to Chancellor Lee Parker, who goes the other way to the right and has a gain of about 9. That's Omar Goodwin once again on the stop.
12 carries, 87 yards for Chancellor Lee Parker. averaging over 7 yards per carry.
Brings up second down for the Tornadoes.
41-7 NATO lead. A run-heavy game plan to start the second half here. But now they go 5 wide. Beamish, quick throw to the outside. Douglas, he'll get the first down and get into Methodist territory to about the 40. Jerron Foreman there for Methodist.
5th catch by the dependable Douglas.
And again, we mentioned earlier, Douglas has been coming on strong the last few weeks after a slow start to the year. And honestly, it may not have even been a slow start in terms of his individual performance, but just such a loaded offense with so many mouths to feed.
Yeah, and I really think some of these opposing defenses started to key in on Orr. That freed up Douglas.
Yeah, absolutely. Him, Reggie Taylor, Cooper Hogan. We've seen a lot of different guys getting active as Omar Goodwin has another tackle there on a Lee Parker run. Chance will bow out with Cooper Hogan. In comes Reggie Taylor. Second down now after the Lee Parker run for 6. Beamish. Handoff here, and that one gobbled up quickly. That was a new back in the ball game. That was number 22, Darius Billingsley. Junior transfer from Weber International. First time we've called his name today.
First time we've called his name pretty much all season. His first carry as a Tornado.
Now Zach Orr in the backfield. See what they come with here. Rennie motions in. Beamish has time. Now throws to Rennie over the middle. Rennie has space. He's at the 20, pushing forward inside the 10. First and goal, NATOs. Josiah Young once again with the tackle to prevent a touchdown.
Great stuff there to George Rennie, the Cleveland Brown contingent cheering here at Islamel Family Field.
Cleveland, Ohio, stand up.
9th different receiver to catch a pass from Ethan Beamish today.
Lee Parker in the backfield. Beamish will go under center. 12 personnel here with the 2 tight ends, Cuellar and Castellanos in. Hogan in tight. Here's Lee Parker with a handoff, and he is going to be smushed there by the Methodist defense. And we're on a record watch here, Phil. We got Ethan Beamish with another touchdown pass here, which set the single-game record for Brevard.
Yeah, well, we'll certainly keep an eye on that. See how much longer Beamish will stay in the game if the game continues to trend this kind of margin.
Second and goal from about the 6. Some motion here by Cooper Hogan. Now Beam with a drop back. Throws. That one is, in and out of the hands of Rennie, who got laid out by Omar Goodwin. That'll wake you up a little bit. I don't think Beamish saw Goodwin flowing towards Rennie. Threw it. It did hit him in the hands, and one that he probably should have caught, but you also can't blame him for hearing the footsteps there, so to speak.
Fisher Rabin, meanwhile, checks in. So another.
This is a guy that Coach Kyatt told us is going to be a big red zone target if he got in the game. Very tall receiver. We'll see if they give him a fade here. Douglas motions out to the right. Beamish, that's exactly what he's going to do. A fade ball up to Rabin, and it's knocked down. Good defense there by Jerron Foreman on the outside.
Yeah, tough assignment against a 6'6" wide receiver there on a jump ball like that, but Foreman able to get it done, and that'll bring on the field goal unit for the NATOs.
So if Beamish is going to set the record, it'll have to wait as the NATOs will settle for 3 here from Hugo Taylor with 6:02 to go in the third. This will be a 23-yarder for Taylor. Should be automatic. And he hits it. 44-7, the score with just under 6 minutes to go here in the third.
Yeah, comfortable lead for the Tornadoes. Great scoring drive there that chewed a lot of clock as well here in the third quarter. Saw a healthy dosage of Chancellor Lee Parker. Key pass to George Rennie. It's a 27-yarder that really brought the Tornadoes deep into the red zone and unable to get in the end zone. However, the Hugo Taylor field goal stretches the lead that much further.
Just a great day here at Ives Lamel Family Field with so many people in attendance. Past Tornadoes. Obviously the dominant performance by the team on the field, and then it's not over after this football game. We've got that women's soccer match, postseason action for the unbeaten Tornado women's soccer team.
Regular season champions, Brevard College Tornado women's soccer. Men's soccer having a big year as well. They're the number 2 seed in the USA South Conference tournament. The way the men's soccer tournament with just 6 teams participating is laid out, they'll earn a bye and they'll play in the semifinals on Wednesday.
Kickoff's going to be caught by Jones at around the 10. He's going to take off. Now cut back to his left. He cannot get away from Carter Rollerson, who brings him down. Physical play there by Carter Rollerson as well as Chaney Thomas.
I've been impressed with that kickoff coverage team of the Tornadoes. You know, you see guys who we're used to calling their name all the time, like Chancellor Lee Parker and folks like that, but you also see some of these players who you don't notice who are more behind the scenes, being a big part of that team concept of that kickoff coverage.
Glue guys, as you call them. You got Jalen Brown in at safety now, as well as Darius Richardson, once again the freshman DB here on the near side. Miller going to throw this one up. He has a man open, and he does overshoot him. Broughton was beat with the slot fade there, but it was incomplete, intended for Ty Benton. Really one of the first times we've seen Jaylon Miller take a downfield shot. Obviously not successful.
Yeah, Tornadoes coverage and also pass rush have made Miller's day difficult. 7 of 16.
You are starting to see that sort of the bench emptying out a little bit with some guys that we haven't seen quite as much this season. You do still see Ramey in there, but Justin Tournier, the corner on the far side, as Miller hands this one off to Love. It's not going anywhere. Zion Wilson once again getting in on the action. And now late flags coming in. Every official throwing their flag. There was some late extracurricular there. We'll just see which side it goes against. As Antonio King comes in. Jordan Ramey in on the D-line as well right now. And coming off the field is Jacoby Dukes. And it's going to be unnecessary roughness against Dukes. And there goes 15 yards for the Monarchs. And NATO fans never relax, never comfortable. They're not happy with that, even with a 44-7 lead.
Well, 8th penalty for Brevard. So, you know, in these blowout wins, oftentimes it's not the worst thing to have a couple items to critique.
Right.
You know,
always want room to improve. Miller with an empty set here. First down and 10. He throws quickly out to the left flat. And some good yardage after the catch there by number 14, Bryson Osby. New set of downs for Methodist, and all of a sudden, due to penalty and yards after the catch, back-to-back first downs for the Monarchs.
Yeah, and even more new personnel. Cameron Eubanks, another one of those futures call-ups, defensive lineman, number 70 at that defensive tackle position.
Miller from inside the Brevard 40. Pump fakes, steps up, and now he's going to take off. Has some room to the left, and will get about 7 there on the quarterback scamper. Just over 4.5 remaining here in the third. NATO's enjoying a comfortable 44-7 lead. We're seeing some new defensive faces. Wonder if that'll carry over to the offensive end or if we'll be record chasing. Whistle's blowing here before the snap.
Injured player on the Tornado side.
We'll see who that is once he gets up. Rest of the NATO's heading over towards the sideline. Still don't have a good view on which NATO that is. And that is Jalen Brown. After he gets up, he's walking off on his own, which is a good sign. Second and 3 now for the Monarchs after Brown walks off. Justice Redmond back in there at safety. Miller, RPO, slant is caught. Coming up and making the tackle is Carter Rollerson. That one's complete to Jalen Pyle. So Methodist, once again here, similar to their opening drive of the second half, which did not yield any points, they're moving the ball down the field.
Yeah, 8th first down of the game, and they only had 3 at halftime.
This run is going to go for nothing. Ernest Smith dragging the running back down, and him and Trey Williams both in on that play. Williams blowing kisses as he runs off the field. Guy we've had in this booth before.
Yeah, one of the more fun-loving Tornadoes. Obviously gets it done there in the trenches, but great guy to be around.
Miller looks left under pressure. Dorsey almost got to him, and now he avoids the sack. Gets forward. Dorsey does bring him down around the sticks, but a nice run there, improvising by Jalon Miller. Looked like Dorsey was about to have sack number 9 on the year. Instead, he'll have to settle for just a tackle. Nick Schultes comes off the field. Still got Darius Richardson as the corner here on the near side with Tournier on the far side, wearing that number 22. Jock Pledger's former number out there. Love motions out on third down. A hole here for Miller, and he is going to get into the end zone. He fumbles. Redmond knocked the ball loose. We'll see what the call is here. And it looks like the NATO's may have gotten the football back. May have been a fumble into the end zone and a touchback. That's exactly what the call is going to be. So the NATO's once again hold strong with Methodist mounting a drive. That was Justice Redmond that jarred that football loose. It looked like Miller was going to get into the end zone there, which technically he did, but did not secure the ball past that line.
Yeah, this would be one of those plays that they would be taking a long time on replay, I think, to see, exactly what happened and what the ruling is. No replay here, so
one of the
Tornadoes
times,
with the turnover, takeaway.
One of the times, at least as a Brevard fan right now, that you're glad there's no replay at the Division III level. There are times you do want it. This is
But
not
first
one.
turnover for either side.
So Beamish back out there once again. He motions Quaylar across and hands to Lee Parker. Shimmies to his right and is going to end up pushing forward for a Tornado first down.
And that puts Chancellor Lee Parker over the 100-yard mark. So another big day for Chance.
(44-7). Tornadoes nursing this big lead and possibly trying to add on. Beamish, another handoff to Lee Parker, a counter play here, and Chance will churn forward for 6 yards. Carlos Mendez bringing him down there, the cornerback. As we near the fourth quarter, things looking really good for Brevard. You never want to give that announcer's jinx of just saying it's over, but things looking very, very good. Minute 10 to go here in the third, 2nd and 4 for Brevard. Marshall and Reggie Taylor. Bounce out to the left. Zach Orr to the right on the far side. Another handoff to Lee Parker. Third straight carry for him. He's got space. Chance at the 50. Breaking tackles inside the Methodist 40. Lee Parker down on the ground after that one. May have just got the wind knocked out of him. It looks like that's exactly the case, holding his stomach as he runs off. Hit the ground hard there, but another big run by a big running back. Saying he's good, laughing it off here on the sideline, and he's going to drop to his back, trying to recover his oxygen. 20 seconds left in the third after the first down run by Chance.
Yeah, Chance continues to amaze. Combination of power and speed.
Now here goes Deaton. The ying to Lee Parker's yang, and he is brought down out of bounds with 6.6 to go here in the third. Clock rolls, and that's going to be it for quarter number 3. Natos get a field goal, and they lead it 44-7. A couple of big defensive stops. The lead is 37 points as we head to the final frame. Hold the fours up, folks. Natos closing in on another conference W. Fourth.
Third down.
So
think it's time to stop putting those guys out there for this punishment.
NATO's back out on the field. Deaton able to walk off on his own strength. He's jogging along the sideline, trying to test out, looks like maybe his ankle. It's 2nd down and 6. Looks like we have DJ Henderson in for the first time today. Beamish will go with a quick pass over to Douglas, and it is intercepted. That one is picked off by number 8, Jewel Huntley. And that might end the day for Ethan Beamish.
Yeah, we see the two teams trade turnovers here in the late in the third and early in the fourth quarter. And the one blemish on Beamish's day, interception on a 5-touchdown afternoon.
About a minute and a half into the fourth quarter. Tournier and Richardson both still the corners. Justice Redmond and Champ James the safeties. It's your secondary right now as Jalon Miller and the Monarchs take back over for their third second-half possession. Miller looking around, has nowhere to go now. He's going to take off. He'll get maybe 7 yards there on that quarterback keeper. And honestly, it seems like with the success that he has had since the mid-second quarter running the football, maybe that should have been more of the game plan with Miller, the athletic-type quarterback, is now another offensive lineman down for Methodist. They were already struggling with injuries in that department coming into the day, which has reflected into the results of the game, but another one down. We'll step aside really quick. NATO defense back on the field. That was number 75, Samaj Miller, the tackle going down for the Monarchs. So making some changes on the O-line, at least for the time being. 2nd and 3 after the Miller quarterback run. This time he'll hand it off to Love. Bailey Ramey comes flying in like a torpedo, but cannot finish the tackle. It gets cleaned up by a couple of NATOs. Just past the sticks, it'll be a first down. Now you got Braden Quinn, the backup quarterback, warming up down below on the sideline, which does signify that this probably is the end of the line for Beamish today. No point in risking him with a 44-7 lead. Miller hands this one off, bouncing outside, and getting a first down and more is number 33, Kion McCollum. But there is a flag right at the sticks. You saw Devon Taylor in. He's going to step out. Also got Cameron Eubanks coming in here. Saw him for just a bit earlier. And for Methodist, it's been a rough go of it the last 2 times against the Brevard College Tornadoes. A combined 96 points for the Nados over the last 2 matchups, outscoring 96-27 against the Monarchs their last 2 games.
And it's a series, if you go back in the history, the
Been
Monarchs
back and forth.
Yeah, it's very back and forth. The Monarchs have hung with the Tornadoes quite a bit over the series history. We talked to Coach Kyatt how these 2 teams contend for many of the same recruits.
I think some of those undecided recruits between the 2 schools might be leaning more Tornado after this one.
No better sales pitch than a win.
Yeah, I'd say outscoring a team 96-27 over 2 years will do it. As Miller, another quarterback draw there, is going to go nowhere. No gain for the Monarchs, who were awarded with a first down on that run with the penalty accompanying after.
Brings up 2nd and 9 for Methodist.
2nd down and 9 to go. Miller with the shadows coming in a little bit on this side of the field now. Is going to keep it again. Makes a man miss, makes another miss, and then is going to be wrapped up and finally brought down past the sticks. Good job there by Miller to keep pushing forward, keep the legs moving, and get another fresh set of downs for the Monarchs.
Hard running by Miller, able to take on multiple defenders and
if
move the sticks.
The first half by Methodist had been played the way that the second half has, although granted, the Nados have certainly taken their foot off the gas a little bit. This might be a closer contest. Been a much better performance in the second half, really on both sides by the Monarchs, as the free access route is caught for another first down. That one hauled in by number 82, Colin Fay, a freshman out of Gainesville, Georgia.
Same hometown as Dylan Champ James.
Yep. Oh, well, no, this was Gainesville, Virginia, actually.
Oh, okay.
Thought it said Gainesville, Georgia. It was Gainesville, Virginia. So same namesake, but not the same spot as.
And James from Gainesville, Florida. So
nice tackle there by Darius Richardson, and yeah, trust me, he'll let you know as well. Big time Gators fan. For years, I know Champ wore the Florida Gators towel on the field. May still be wearing it today, not sure, but he reps Gainesville loud and proud. 2nd and 10. After that one stopped in its tracks by Richardson. You see Richardson jawing back and forth with the receiver here on the near side. Miller, clean pocket, throws. That one is caught. That's Fay again for a big gain and a first down. Justin Tournier, the nearest defender, making the tackle there. Or Bailey Ramey and him coming together to make that tackle, rather.
Yeah, good-looking pass and catch there. Methodist moving the ball on this drive.
It almost seems like with the game out of reach, Methodist, Jalon Miller specifically, is like calmed down a little bit nerves-wise. Here's another quarterback draw. Minimal gain. Obi Grimes and Ernest Smith both bringing him down there, and a late flag coming on the far side of the field. You do see a helmet off for a Methodist player. We'll see what this is about. Mason Tanner coming in, linebacker that we have not yet seen today. It's an update around college football. Duke has taken a lead over Miami, 21-17 early on in the third. Ohio State leading by a touchdown over Penn State, 17-10 in the third. And that is going to be a foul against the defense.
USA South Conference action. Greensboro 21, NC Wesleyan 20. 7 minutes to play in that one. And Maryville, Belhaven, and LaGrange, Huntington just now getting started.
Yeah, scoreless early on in that Huntington-LaGrange ball game.
Those two games, obviously, the ones that the Tornadoes are watching
Yep.
closely.
NATO's certainly rooting for a LaGrange loss as that one thrown up, and it's going to be pass interference against Richardson as he was hanging on to Andre Wilson, the receiver on the near side. This will set Methodist up with another chance to score here in the second half. They've gotten close twice and have come up with nothing. And again, the NATO's fans, they don't care that it's 44-7. They're pissed. In pursuit constantly of perfection, right, Phil?
That's right.
So this ball will be spotted at the 2-yard line for the Monarchs. And at this point, you're just playing for pride, trying to get the score a little bit closer. Miller moving to his left. He gets the edge, tosses it up on an odd play there, and the NATOs think he was past the line of scrimmage. The officials may deem this a touchdown, and they will.
Yeah, no flags.
Sajari Love. That was an interesting, very unorthodox play. Miller ran out to the left and just tossed it way up in the air for the running back who was alone in the end zone after the entire defense for the NATOs had committed to Miller as a runner.
Yeah, certainly not a textbook spiral pass, but effective nonetheless, and Methodist able to get on the board again.
Methodist into double figures now, finally. PAT is good. And with 9:05 to go, the NATOs lead it by 31. And just checking on the Maryville-Belhaven game, that game was scheduled to kick off at 2 Eastern, but still no live stats or score being provided yet in that one. So not sure if there's a delay or what. It's a flag after the PAT. It's going to be against the NATOs for running into the kicker. Looks like it might be enforced on the kickoff. (44-14), 30-point lead for the Tornadoes. Pretty conservative, quiet second half. And by the way, folks, for those of you interested in the Duke Blue Devils, they did just get the end zone once again to go up 28-17 on the Miami Hurricanes in the third quarter. We'll say, if you're a Miami fan, such as Phil, no need to panic. We saw that Cal game a few weeks ago where they were down 20-something late in the third.
It's true, Cam Ward, anything's possible. But, yeah, the return of Manny Diaz. Interesting times down there at Hard Rock Stadium.
Big ACC ball. Kickoff here from the 50 by Methodist will be a touchback. Going back after it was Jeremiah Lane, but he watches it fly out of the back of the end zone. As the NATO offense will come back onto the field, and we're going to see some new faces here. Looks like Braden Quinn, the backup quarterback, the freshman, is going to come in here. We've got Jeremy Rudolph in. Got Tristan Wynn in the ball game. Jared Smith. A couple of these seniors that Coach Kyatt wants to give their kind of last opportunity here at Ives Lamel Family Field to get some reps.
Yeah, Smith and Rudolph part of that senior class, and this is the Tornado debut of Quinn.
Here's Tristan Wynn. Quinn and Wynn in the backfield. It's Tristan with the carry for about 4 or 5.
Wynn, a real hard-nosed player, great special teams performer.
One of those guys that just keeps his nose to the grindstone, just quietly works hard just from being around him in this program. Really solid guy and teammate. Glad to see him getting some carries here in the back half of this one. 2nd and 4, 8.5 to play. Quinn hands this one off to Wynn once again. Runs into a herd of tornadoes. See number 98, Tyler Mossman, trying to bring the pile down. Can't do it. Now we have a tornado down on the far side of the field as we approach 3rd down. Maryville up 7-3 early in the first quarter on the Belhaven Blazers. As we take a look around the USA South. Looks like Ian Castellanos is the man down, by the way, on the far side.
Yeah, Maryville, Belhaven were able to ascertain a score there. Maryville 7, Belhaven 3. 5:30 left to play in the first quarter. That's down in Jackson, Mississippi.
Still no score as we approach the end of the first down in Montgomery, Alabama, Huntington and LaGrange. Castellanos is going to walk off the field. Slowly but surely, Castellanos coming off. Quaylar in now for him. See Quinn accompanied by the likes of Rudolph, Quaylar, Tristan Wynn. Third down and 2. Jeremy Rudolph, the near side receiver, one-on-one here. And Rudolph, if they decide to throw it, does have a ton of speed. See if they keep running the football or not here on 3rd and 2. Quinn, play action boot. He might keep it for himself. He will, and he is blown up. That was Omar Goodwin coming in and laying a big hit, as well as Damian Harris on Braden Quinn. So this group of NATOs is going to go 3 and out. They send the punt unit out here, and they obviously want to go for it, the guys on the field, but being up 44-14 and on your own side of the field, not even past the 35, Coach Kyatt, it's not the type of coach that's going to do that, pull those stunts.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. You got to punt the ball here and don't want to give the Monarchs any more life here in the fourth quarter.
This is Vargas with the punt, and it is fair caught. I believe his first punt of the afternoon, finally coming with 7 minutes to go in the ball game. So it just shows you how good the offense has been.
Yeah, you know things are going well when you've had one punt through this much duration of the contest. See if we see some fresh faces here on defense as well.
We still have some of the usual suspects. Still see Dorsey, Ramey, Trey Williams, Obi Grimes. See Jamari McDaniel at corner. We've seen a lot more of him the other parts of the season as opposed to today. Kind of saw the NATOs trying some different cornerback looks in this one. But now McDaniel in on the near side.
I do see Bryson Ruggs, number 23, out there.
That throw is going to fall incomplete at the feet of TJ Hart. Really all that's left to do in this one is have the clock bleed out the rest of the way. Under 7 minutes to go, and NATOs are going to enjoy a really satisfying senior day victory with a couple more games looming. Handoff here is going to go for not much. Bailey Ramey, Brandon Broughton getting in there. So the NATOs will have at North Carolina Wesleyan next week. And then that last game, it's up in the air on who their opponent will be. They will be traveling either to Kentucky to face Kentucky Christian, or if there's championship at stake between them and Maryville College, they will head up to Tennessee to take on the Maryville Scots.
Yeah, that Maryville matchup was supposed to happen a few weeks back, but Hurricane Helene, of course, postponed that indefinitely. And if it becomes a necessary game to be played for these USA South Conference standings and the first place position in specific, then that'll be the case 2 weeks from today.
That pass by Miller just a moment ago was caught short of the stick, so maybe one final punt for Schoen. Cooper Hogan back there to receive this one. Schoen gets it away. And that one is going to bounce and take a roll towards the NATO 35. And Methodist thinks that it may have touched a tornado, possibly Hogan. And the referees, I believe, are saying that it did. We saw the initial signal go that way for Methodist. And, yep, here comes the tornado defense once again. So didn't quite get a good look at that one. Might have bounced off Cooper Hogan, but they do confirm the call that it is Methodist football.
Yeah, indeed. That's not the sort of mistake you want to see at this juncture, even though you're up handedly. But that'll be one that the coaches, I'm sure, will be reviewing with the team.
That's one of those,
this week.
Like you say, like the game is pretty much out of reach, but the coaches, for them, there's a standard to uphold, whether you're up 100 or down 100. Miller, under some heat. Moves out of the way and now throws it to no receiver in the area. I guess they're going to rule that he was outside of the tackle box because there was certainly nobody there. Unless he was caught up in the scrum at the line of scrimmage.
Flag eventually came in late.
This is going to be a grounding flag, it looks like. And no, they pick up the flag. It's always an interesting day with the USA South officials.
Nicholas Schultes was there defensively, part of that senior class that was honored.
You see Martin Bayless still sending heat. Up 30. Old school guy. If you don't like it, stop it. This one is a handoff and a big run for Methodist. That is number 33, Kyle McCollum, getting into the red zone for the Monarchs. Third straight possession in the red zone for Methodist here in the tail end as we reach the 5-minute mark.
Yeah, we mentioned some of these things late in this game that the Tornadoes coaching staff could be critical of when they're reviewing the film and that kind of thing. Well, some bright spots for Methodist late in this game. Some things to feel good about moving forward.
Here's a handoff to the left. It's going nowhere fast. Brought down by Obi Grimes and Hunter Davis. Four minutes and 20 seconds remaining. Antonio King comes in for Obi Grimes. Might be the last we see of number 0 in this one. With time ticking down. Miller. Quick screen over here to Love. And Methodist does have numbers. This is going to go for a touchdown. Passing touchdown there for Miller. And at this point, Methodist doing what we could call some stat padding here at the end of the ball game.
Yeah, I can't really blame them for continuing to.
Oh, of course not.
Do the absolute best they can to try to get in the end zone.
You play hard until the very end. It's just that the score will not necessarily be as reflective of how dominant of a win this was by the Tornadoes once we reach the final.
Yeah, indeed.
Point after attempt is through. It's 44-21. Big time senior day win about to be wrapped up by the Tornadoes shortly. Less than 4 minutes to go. Phil, you got to feel really good if you're the Tornadoes. Had that brutal 5-turnover loss at home 3 weeks ago, or 2 weeks ago rather, against LaGrange, and since then you bounce back. You go into your arch rival's house at Huntington, you get a big win, and then you come in here and blow out Methodist on senior day, and that's something that has been on and off for the Tornadoes over the last few years, is that resilience and that ability to shut out the noise and flip the page. They've done just that over these last 2 ball games.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That loss to LaGrange was really tough to stomach. 5 turnovers, as you mentioned, and a game that, you felt like on paper that the NATOs should come away with. And a lot of teams would go off the rails at that point, but the Tornadoes come up with that 25-21 win last week at Huntington, something the program's never done before, a road win at Huntington. And then today, just taking care of business. And like you said, 44-21, it sure hasn't felt like 44-21 most of the way.
Yeah, it's felt like a complete domination by the Tornadoes, and looks like we'll see the oh no, Ethan Beamish is actually going to be back out there with the lead cut down to 23. Maybe we'll do some stat padding of our own, although I suspect that this is still going to be a very run-heavy series as the NATOs try and put a bow on this one. We see where Coach Kyatt draws the line on the backups being in terms of where the scoreboard sits. Beamish, a little shuffle pass here to Douglas, who's going to bounce off of a blocker and then get hit after about 6.
7th catch for Douglas. Another big day for Adam Douglas. We've been talking about him throughout the broadcast. But what a compliment to Orr and Taylor, Hogan.
Brings up 2nd and 4 for your Tornadoes.
2nd and 4. Ball on the Brevard 43. 3:12 and counting here at Ives Lamel Family Field. Blake Shepard comes across from right to left. And a handoff here to Wynn. He's going to bounce off a tackle, but then still be wrapped up in the backfield. Looks like it might be a loss of a yard. Tyler Jackson bringing him down, and it'll set up a 3rd down. NATOs want to go ahead and hold on to this football until the clock hits 0. Third and 4. Clock winding down. Likely the final play before the 2-minute timeout, barring an incompletion. Hogan motions inside. Now another handoff to Wynn that is just gobbled up by this Methodist D-line. That will likely take us to the 2-minute timeout. Damian Harris making the play there. And Phil, just want to thank you for letting me come on and get the opportunity to call the final home game of the year for the Tornadoes. It's been a blast being up here with you again.
Yeah, it's been great having you back, Brady. Senior Day, I know a lot of these seniors who were celebrated earlier this afternoon you're close with and teammates of yours, so great to have you back here in the booth. Yeah, once again here at the Bosch, or the Ives Lamel Family Field. We did so many games together at the Bosch,
yep.
Yeah?
Yep, 2 very, very special places. And, this has gone about as good as we could ask for in terms of the product of the game, in terms of the excitement, and just being around everybody and getting the opportunity to do this with you again. And we're now 2-0 with this duo on the call, so...
Yeah, if you believe in such things, as if broadcasters make a difference
just a little stitious. Not superstitious. One final punt here from Vargas. 2 minutes remaining. 44-21 where we stand. Schnell readjusting the shield. Now Vargas lets it fly. A return is immediately stopped by Chaney Thomas, who flies down the field and makes a big hit to put a stamp on this one.
Yeah, we've seen the coverage on both kickoffs and punts throughout the day. That time, Chaney Thomas. Another newcomer for the Tornadoes, a sophomore transferred in from Jacksonville State. Couple of miscues on special teams. You know, the turnover on the punt return and then also a missed PAT. But for the most part, some great production from these special teams units.
Absolutely. NATO's ready to celebrate this one, but they got 1:53 to go before that is able to happen. Miller steps up, throws over the middle. It is caught shy of the sticks. That one's hauled in by number 6, KJ Hicklin. Clock continues to roll. Sun kind of hiding a little bit now in the second half. Miller takes another snap. Dorsey with a spin move gets inside. Now Miller trying to get away from Williams, tosses it up in the air, and they're going to rule it a sack. Trey Williams takes a bow and now blows kisses. Trey Williams is not shy when it comes to the celebration game. Had a big game at Huntington last week, 7.5 tackles, a couple TFLs, and a forced fumble. Now putting his signature on this one with a sack in the closing moments.
Yeah, his 5th tackle on the day and a sack, and senior day opportunity for Trey Williams and making the most of it.
The graduate defensive end, defensive tackle technically on the roster. 40 seconds to go. Miller stepping up, looking to throw. He finds his man, and Love is going to be pushed out of bounds. And now a flag for a late hit on Champ James is going to come, and Champ does not care. See that Gainesville coming out of him right now. Not very shy about that penalty.
Yeah.
Very vocal.
You know, final minute of the game. Rather just kind of get out of here in one piece, but another flag here with 32 seconds to play.
All this will do is give Methodist one final first down. Jordan Ramey will come off for Devon Taylor. And now this one's being brought back. Was it an offset?
Yeah, the penalty was on Methodist, I believe.
Oh, at first he called number one for
number
Brevard.
One of Methodist.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Champ James ended up getting very excited over that one. He was the one the penalty went against in terms of Methodist committing it against him. So now here comes, I keep saying one final punt, and we just keep ending up with more. Shown with a final punt coming here. Probably see a kneel down after Orr returns this. Orr cutting back, and he's wrapped up finally at around the Methodist 46-yard line. 20 seconds to go. All that's left to do is kneel it out.
Well, mission accomplished here at Islamel Family Field. We talked to Coach Bill Kyatt, you know, so much to look forward to with the rest of the season, that potential matchup versus Maryville. He did not want this team overlooking this matchup versus Methodist, who Methodist has gotten the better of the Tornadoes a few times over the years, but the Tornadoes took care of business really from literally the opening play of the game.
Victory formation. Beamish takes the knee, and that's going to do it here at Ives Lamel. Nados win it 44-21, a blowout here on Senior Day. Phil, it has been an honor to be on the call once again, and glad that we could see a big-time Tornado victory here. The final home game of the year for the Tornadoes. It's been a blast.
Yep, Brady. Been fantastic to have you back. Welcome back to Brevard College as an alum now. Congratulations on all that you got going on. And thanks for helping us bring the action to NATO Nation this afternoon. I know you're looking forward to catching up with your old teammates after the game, so we'll let you go. But thanks again, Brady. Great job on the play-by-play.
Absolutely. Thanks, Phil.
Back here at Ives Lamel Family Field, a resounding 44-20 win for the Tornadoes over the Monarchs. Ethan Beamish ties a school record for most touchdowns in a contest with 5 on a 21 of 29 day, 299 yards, 5 touchdowns, and an interception. Beamish used 9 different receivers over the course of the day. Zachary Orr, 5 catches for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns. Adam Douglas, 7 catches for 82 yards. Reggie Taylor, 2 catches for 67 yards and a pair of touchdowns. George Rennie had a big 27-yard catch that put the Tornadoes deep into the red zone. Ian Castellanos with his first touchdown in a Tornado uniform. Also catches by Chancellor Lee Parker, Jack Spots, Jaden Deaton, and Cooper Hogan. Chancellor Lee Parker, a huge day on the ground, 17 carries for 133 yards, a 7.8 average. Jaden Deaton, another strong day as well, 10 carries for 56 yards, averaging 5.5 yards per carry. And Tristan Wynn with 4 carries of his own. Tornadoes defensively, Obadiah Grimes, Ernest Smith, Trey Williams, all leading the team with 5 tackles. Those guys getting it done up front. Williams had 1.5 sacks, a solo sack and a assisted sack. Ernest Smith had a sack as well. Robert Dorsey with half a sack. Quarterback hurries from Schultes, amongst others, and the Tornadoes defense coming up big in this one. Methodist, Miller, the quarterback for the Monarchs, 17 of 28, 3 touchdowns, was sacked 3 times, did not throw an interception. 2 receiving touchdowns to Love, 1 by Pyle. The touchdown to Pyle, a 71-yarder. And then Miller, the leading Monarch on the ground as well, 14 carries for 49 yards. A dominant performance for the Tornadoes, a 44-21 win. First downs, 24-16 advantage. And Tornadoes dominating pretty much every category statistically, 198-92 in rushing yards, 299-206 in receiving yards. Total yards, the Tornadoes were just 3 yards away from 500 total yards, 497 total yards to 298 for the Monarchs. Third downs, Tornadoes were 6 of 10, Monarchs 3 of 11. So Tornadoes did a nice job in that category on the defensive side as well. And this game was all Tornadoes from the get-go. Tornadoes jumping out to a 21-0 lead in that first quarter. And it all started with a kickoff return for a touchdown by Zachary Orr. Ethan Beamish then found Ian Castellanos on a 10-yard grab to make it 14-0. And then Beamish found Reggie Taylor for the first of 2 touchdowns. It was 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. And then early in the second quarter, a 59-yard touchdown reception by Reggie Taylor the second. That made it 28-0. Another touchdown to Orr, that one from 25 out. Methodist was finally able to get on the board with 6 minutes to play in the second quarter. And then touchdown to Orr late in the second quarter gave the Tornadoes a 41-7 lead after the Hugo Taylor extra point. Third quarter, Taylor able to make a 24-yard field goal to make it 44-7. And then Methodist scored the final 14 points of this contest, outscored the Tornadoes 14-0 in the fourth quarter, but it was too little too late. Tornadoes, after building that big lead, able to handily take care of the Monarchs 44-21. Had a big-time performance for Brevard College, who will continue to keep an eye on this USA South action. A couple scores from the USA South. One final also in. NC Wesleyan defeats Greensboro 23-21. Huntington with a 7-0 lead over LaGrange in the second quarter. And in Jackson, Mississippi, Maryville 14, Belhaven 3 with 5 minutes to play in the second quarter. Well, big congratulations to the senior class, including a group of seniors who were also honored last year and came back for another year of Tornado football. Chancellor Lee Parker, Zachary Orr, Trey Williams, and Josh Blackstock. Hayden Schnell as well, Ernest Smith the second in that category also. And then the seniors, Tristan Wynn, Dylan James, Cooper Hogan, Hot Rod Fenton, Ian Castellanos, who had a touchdown catch, Brooks Ashford, Nick Akis, Jeremiah Rudolph, Hugo Taylor, Jamon Fanning, Jamie Tinsley, Nicholas Clark, Sims Watley, Dominic O'Brien, Nicholas Schultes, Stephen Victoriano, Jared Smith, who saw some action in this one, Wandia Martin, George Rennie, who had a big catch in this one, Devon Taylor, and Zion Wilson, who was a factor on that defensive line for the Tornadoes. So congrats to that group as well. Well, it was a lot of fun to bring you all the action here from Eyes Lamel Family Field, a 44-21 win for the Brevard College Tornadoes. Big thanks to all those who helped behind the scenes. PA announcer Ray Gill, campus minister Sherrod Kreisman handling the invocation, Grace Vaught from the Brevard College School of Music handling the national anthem, sports information director Joseph Marvin, and SID assistant Izzy Musser pushing a lot of the buttons behind the scenes, and also helping us on that stats crew, Drew Pond and Scott Bundy, Sharif Pennington, Tori Robinson. Alex Spangler was our broadcast spotter. Coach Brad Jones and Coach Donald Hudson handling the clocks this evening, and also great work on the media side from Caden O'Brien, Tony Belcher, Addie McAllister as well. And our play-by-play announcer, great to have Brady Penn back with us for this one. Big thanks also to the Brevard College men's lacrosse team and women's lacrosse teams for their help behind the scenes in the operations of these events at Eyes Lamel Family Field. Well, stick with us. On the same YouTube channel, we'll have another stream going. We'll get things started at 4:40 p.m. Eastern Time for a 5 o'clock start. Brevard College versus William Peace, women's soccer, first round of the USA South Conference Championship Tournament from here at Eyes Lamel Family Field. Hey, if you're in the area, come on down. We'd love to see you in person. If not, we'll have all the action from women's soccer here on this YouTube channel. Well, that'll do it for those of us here at Eyes Lamel Family Field. Thanks for joining us on your Saturday on this YouTube channel. Your final score for the final time, Tornadoes 44, Monarchs 21. Go Tornadoes.